call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator system. When the power goes out, your Generac system kicks in, so you've always got power no matter what. Upgrade your home with a Generac home standby generator system professionally installed by the energy pros at Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air, the guys in the big red trucks.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrud Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrud's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrud's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrud's, locally owned for more than 30 years. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabrud's.com.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
NASCAR action happens every weekend right here on Fox Sports Radio, 890 AM and 104.7 FM. Your home for every race and for Dan Patrick, Colin Cowherd, and Grant Napear every Monday through Friday. Fox Sports Radio.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to a message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Press back. Join the conversation every weekday afternoon beginning at 3 p.m. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento. Hello, Sacramento. Sacktown. And welcome in.
Grant Napear.
How you been? You know this guy.
It's your show.
So happy to hear you on the airwaves.
2+ decades on the radio with you.
Just the start of an incredible journey.
Now he's back on Fox Sports 104.7 FM and 890 AM.
3 to 6 every day, Fox Sports Sacramento.
The phone number?
916-779-0929.
His name? Grant Napear.
And a good afternoon, everybody. Is there anything better than sudden death in hockey? We always talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs, but how about sudden death in the gold medal game? Wow. The United States, Team USA, in sudden death, beats Canada 2-1 to take home gold. Megan Keller with the beautiful move on the wing. Beats the goalie. And what a devastating, agonizing, crushing loss for Canada. They were up 1-0 with 2 minutes and 4 seconds left to go in the game. And then Hillary Knight tied the game and then the United States wins it in overtime. What a team. The women's United States hockey team, they allowed only 2 goals. Think about that. The entire tournament. That's amazing. What a game. What a game. Incredible. Wow. 916-779-0929. What do you think of the news coming out of New York as it relates to tanking and what we may see for next season? Not this season, next season. Yeah, this could have some major implications as far as Sacramento goes in rebuilding their team, because it's not going to be rebuilt just on one draft. Some of the ideas, some of the concepts, first-round draft picks can be protected only for top 4 or top 14-plus selections. They're thinking about freezing the odds at the trade deadline or a later date. No longer allowing a team to pick in the top 4 in consecutive years and or after consecutive bottom 3 finishes. Teams can't pick in the top 4 the year after making the conference finals. Lottery odds would be allocated based on 2-year records. Lottery extended to include all play-in teams, which is stupid. And then flatten the odds for all the teams. So the NBA's going to finally do something about this. All right? Finally going to be doing something about this. It's about freaking time. So we've got the Kings and the Magic tonight. Post-game show over on YouTube and X. I'll be doing that show tonight with Jerry Reynolds right after the contest. And Keegan Murray, we'll see how he looks. To me, there's only a few things worth playing for anymore for this year. Not in any particular order. Keegan Murray, to be able to play and end the season on a strong note, because for all intents and purposes, it's been a lost season for him. That's number 1. Number 2, some offensive consistency in Nick Clifford's game. And number 3, Devin Carter needs to show he can either be part of the Kings' future moving forward or part of an NBA team's future moving forward or not. And I think the former is true. I think that would be the case. So those are, to me, the things that remain to be seen. I don't need to see, would I like to see Max Reynaud continue to develop? Yes. But the point is, I've seen enough in him where I'm feeling pretty good going into the future. As far as Nick Clifford goes, I need to see more offensively from him. So we've got all of that and your phone calls at 916-779-0929. Thrilling hockey game today, though. And somebody said, what about the great call by Kenny Albert? Awesome game. Kenny is awesome. I've known him for a long time. It was a phenomenal call. Phenomenal. Let's get to Mac. Mac, how are you?
I'm doing great. I just wanted to comment about the game, like the women's hockey. You could tell that the Americans, they came out a little, I thought, tight. One thing I really liked is that I liked the way the game was officiated. You could tell they were letting them play a little bit. One thing that I just, at the end I was like, oh, the only way the Americans are going to score is on because the Canadians weren't giving up any shooting lanes, as if they can get a redirect, which they did. The one negative I'm going to say is that game should not end in a 3-on-3 for overtime. It should be 5-on-5.
I agree.
I understand. To have a championship game.
Yeah, the gold medal game should be at full strength. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, once I saw it was 3-on-3, I knew the Americans were going to win. The only way the Canadians could have won is if there's a bad bounce and then a bad change because of a bad bounce.
Yep.
But it just if you're not a faster team, but you play a slower game, it's such a horrible disadvantage. And to have a championship,
it's like the World Cup final coming down the penalty kicks. As exciting as it is,
exactly,
it's not the way the game's supposed to be played.
I agree. And I'm thrilled as an American that they won, but I think there's a little bit of disservice, and I think the IIHF and the Olympic Committee need to reevaluate that. That's all I had to say, but I'm happy as an American that we won. And I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. The only thing I would say about that is all the teams know the rules going in. So you can't really complain about it if you're Canada. The bottom line is I agree with Mac. I think when you get to the gold medal game, you need to play the rules in overtime as you would during regulation. And the 3-on-3, what it does if you don't follow hockey, it just completely changes everything about the game. And there's just a ton of open ice, which means that you're going to have a much more likelihood. First of all, if you're a better skating team, you've got the advantage. And then second, it lessens the chance for a long game, because when you're 3-on-3, there's just going to be a lot more opportunities. And Keller's move coming down the left wing, eluding the defenseman, and as Kenny Albert said, cutting to the net, and basically was one-on-one with the goalie and scores. It was a dramatic finish for Team USA. Hard to believe, again, they only allowed 2 goals in the entire tournament. 2 goals. Incredible. Grant, after watching Peterson's act last night, I hope the Kings don't take him. To me, he looks uninterested. What do you think? I don't know Darren Peterson. I wouldn't know him if he walked in and sat down next to me. But he looks like a real head case to me. He looks like a diva to me. And he looks like somebody that will come into the NBA with a load of entitlement. And I had Scott Pollard on yesterday. Scott, the Kansas alum, who, by the way, is batting 1,000 when it comes to Kansas players going on to the next level. And I asked him point blank, if he were the general manager of the Kings or any other team that had the number 1 pick in the draft, would he take Darren Peterson? And he said, I'll pass. So take that for what it's worth. All right? Take that for what it's worth. I would not take Peterson, even though he might be the most talented player in the draft. If I'm seeing this type of behavior in college, doesn't want to play, wants to come out of the game, 50-50, he's going to decide not to play. I don't want that player on my team in the NBA. And Scott went through it. We talked about it at length yesterday when Scott was on the program. All right, coming on the show today, okay? I'm going to get into the Sacramento State moving to the Mid-American Conference, which I've been very open about. I do not understand this. And a couple of days ago, Yahoo Sports, Ross Dellinger, had a really interesting story on this, and he's going to be coming on at 4 o'clock. So I'm going to talk to him about 4 o'clock. We're going to talk about the absurd numbers where President Wood thinks that there's going to be an estimated economic impact of $975 million over 5 years. You got to be kidding me. Again, we're not talking about LSU or Georgia or Texas. We're talking about Sacramento State. You're going to have an estimated economic impact because you're going to the MAC of $975 million. I mean, so I'm going to talk with Ross. He's coming up at 4 o'clock. But I'm really happy that I just saw that text as it related to Peterson, because I haven't watched a lot of Kansas basketball this year. But after watching a few of the games, but talking to Scott Pollard, who is on top of Kansas basketball as much as anyone I've ever talked to, and he's never been wrong about a Kansas player. You know what? I don't want a John Morant on my team. All right? I don't want a head case on my team. I don't want red flags on my team. I already went through that with DeMarcus Cousins. You don't want another DeMarcus Cousins, okay? Doesn't really matter how talented you may be. There's a reason why he could not stay on a team. And that wherever he went, they quickly tried to get rid of him everywhere. Every single place he went to, they were like, we got to, oh boy. No. And if you think that you can change an individual, you know what you can't change in a person? You can't change heart, and you can't change drive, and you can't change work ethic. You either have it or you don't. That's not something that's coachable. Okay, you can't coach drive. You just can't. Like the Ben Simmons of the world, no. You can't do anything with the Ben Simmons of the world. He doesn't have any drive. He doesn't have any desire. And it really doesn't matter whether you're on this team or that team. You can't coach drive. Can't do it. Scott said, hands down, he would take Boozer if he had the number 1 pick in this draft. He loves the kid, and he thinks that even though he may not be like that elite player. By the way, Scott felt that there were no elite players in this draft. And by elite, I'm talking about franchise-altering players. He did not think that player is in this draft. Good players, yes, but not like your franchise player. And I was kind of interested when he said that, because there are a lot of people that cover college basketball and are forecasting the top few picks in this year's draft as franchise-altering type of players. And by that, when you talk about that, you're talking about a player that can almost carry a team on his back, like that player that can get you to that next level or the top of the NBA level. And he did not think that there is a player like that in this draft. Very interesting, the comments. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. Something else as we wrap up the Olympics, and we've got Team USA in men's hockey and big semifinal game, and you look at what they've got going on. But I was having a conversation earlier today about announcing for the Olympics. Most of the events are announced in Stamford, Connecticut. That's where NBC has their huge facility. And most, not all, most of the events are done from not on site in Italy, but from the studios of Stamford, Connecticut. I know a lot of people find that hard to believe, but that's just the way it is. Said, congratulations on Team USA moving to number 1 in the best of class at the Olympics. Norway is always number 1 in the medal count, and then it's the best in the class. I haven't even paid attention to the medal count. I don't care about it. I don't even get caught up in that. I honestly, didn't even know that. What I do know is just from watching the Winter Olympics every 4 years, Norway is always good because they're so good in all of the alpine events. I mean, they're skiing. By the way, can I talk about skiing? So yesterday, for the first time, I watched this mountaineering skiing. If there's a more ridiculous, absurd, stupid event than mountaineering skiing, that's the problem with the Olympics. When you put crap in there like that, that should not be an Olympic sport. Really? So you gotta ski uphill for a minute, and then you gotta take your skis off and put them in your backpack, and you gotta run up a bunch of stairs. Like, let me ask you a question. When you go skiing, okay? When you go skiing, whether it's cross-country skiing, whether it's downhill skiing or snowboarding, how many times do you see people ski, take their skis off, run up a bunch of steps, put their skis back on, ski for 50 yards, take their skis off, take the skin off, put them in your pouch, and then ski down the hill? I mean, what an embarrassment. Really? That's what the Olympics is coming to? And we talked about this yesterday. What kind of event is that? It's embarrassing. Seriously. Enough already with this nonsense. It's absurd. You know what's not absurd? Being prepared when you're entering the real estate market. Like, you better be ready to roll, and you need somebody working for you that is really good at what they do, who you can trust, the experience, the specialization to make your dreams come true when it comes to buying a home or selling a home equity line of credit. Spencer with Village Financial Group does it all. The broker owner, been doing this now for a long time. I've known Spence going on 26 years now. It's like a white glove type of a service, a boutique experience where Spence is going to take you from the start line to the finish line. Remember, he is very creative when it comes to financing. He's a financing specialist. He's got access to private money. And again, he is awesome at what he does. So text or call Spence at 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. Thousands of listings available on their website at vfgloans.com. That's vfgloans.com. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. 916-779-0929, the number to text or call when we come back. Don't forget Ross Dellinger to go over this Sacramento State move to the FBS and the MAC. I'll see if it makes sense to Ross, because it doesn't make sense to me, I can tell you that. He covers college football for Yahoo Sports. That's at 4 o'clock, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Homeowners, if you have an electrical project you need done, then you need the good dudes at Gabrudes. Family owned and operated for 30 years, Jay Gabrude and his team are the area's recognized experts for everything electrical, from the very basic like repairs, lighting upgrades, and whole house fans, to the biggies, panel replacements, EV stations, and backup generators. Gabrudes does it all and does it right the first time. They're actually the guys their competition recommends. Gabrudes, expert, 5-star service, and always transparent, honest prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Visit Gabrudes.com or call 24/7 and speak with a real live person. Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S. Gabrudes.com.
It's back, Sacramento. Fox Sports Radio and Elk Grove Chevrolet are proud to present Capitol Beer Fest Saturday, March 7th at the Capitol Mall. Join us for a day of sampling God's nectar from over 70 great brewers, plus music and food. And at the Fox Sports Elk Grove Chevy Lounge, get a great cigar and meet Grant Napear. Most important, of course, 100% of Beer Fest proceeds benefits Runnin' for Rhett Youth Fitness. Get your Beer Fest group together and get your tickets now at CapitalBeerFest.com. That's Capital with an O, beerfest.com. CapitalBeerFest.com.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Don't forget Ross Dellinger coming up at 4 o'clock. Rhino will be doing the show for me tomorrow, 3 to 6. I am really looking forward to my conversation at 4 o'clock. I've been doing more research on this Sacramento State deal. And again, when I say research, I'm not talking to an economist. And I don't think I have to talk to an economist. I've talked a lot about the Mid-American Conference. It's the doormat of the Big Ten, right? I've gone over the attendance figures in the MAC. If you weren't with me a couple of days ago, you know, I've gone over the fact that the people that live in that part of the country, they don't even really care about the MAC. I mean, if you're just looking at attendance figures for FBS schools last year, you know, if you go to the bottom of the list, okay, there are 5 MAC schools. You ready for this? In the bottom 12 of attendance in college football. Akron, Ball State, Northern Illinois last year, Kent State, Miami of Ohio. And then there are 2 more that are also in the bottom of the list. Buffalo, Eastern Michigan. Like, I want people to understand here in Sacramento, like what we're talking about here at the MAC, okay? You understand? And you've got President Wood, who comes out and declares, after talking with a consulting firm, okay, that the economic impact to the area over a 5-year period is going to be $975 million. Are you delusional or what? You know, if you're talking about in Indonesian dollars or Vietnamese dollars, maybe. By the way, have you ever seen the currency? Have you ever been to Vietnam and you go to buy a soda and it's like $1 million worth of their currency? Maybe the economic impact, if you're talking about in Vietnamese dollars, I could see it being $975 million. I mean, it's a joke. So I'm going to talk with Ross about that. And Ross is not an economist either, but I would think, and I don't want to speak for Ross because he might have a completely different opinion than me. I always deal in common sense. And common sense tells me that this doesn't make any sense. Now, I understand why Sac State wants to move up in FB. I get that part of it. Like, you don't have to convince me why they would want to do that. That part I understand. But to make this work, are you kidding me?
Grant,
so,
there's
go ahead.
two nuances here. How is economic impact defined? What does that include? And the second is, how much of that is coming out of Sac State's pocket that's going towards the economic impact when it comes to hotels and flights, buses, etc.?
Well, an economic impact of $975 million is not money going out, it's money coming in. Okay, when you talk about an economic impact, that's not money being spent in terms of revenue. It's what is coming in terms of an economic boom.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So
right.
what are they including within that scope? And
maybe they think they're going to win the Powerball after no one wins it for 5 consecutive times.
And honestly, how much is Sac State going to be contributing to that impact? Because remember, the economic impact affects the city as well. Lodging, Sac State's paying for the teams. to come to Sacramento.
Their air travel.
Which
is between 150 and 200,000 per game, roughly.
So I guess what I'm saying is Sacramento State is paying towards the city's economic impact. That total number that the city will receive.
Do these MAC teams know that since Sacramento State is playing for their travel, they're going to be on a Cessna 150 and have to stop and refuel 8 times, and there's only 4 people per plane?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you can fit a football team on that one.
Well, that's why you have to have a lot of them. It's just going to be like a caravan going across the country at 7,000 feet.
Yeah.
Now, when you have to fly over the Rockies, that's going to be a little challenging.
Student pilots getting their miles in their mileage book.
Right. So when you fly, when you come in and you get the Rockies, that could be a little challenging. All right, could be a little challenging. So, and I don't understand how you're going to take a non-football town. And you talked about this with Joe when you did the show for me this week on President's Day about this not being a football community, and Joe agreed with me. And now all of a sudden you're going to go to the MAC, and because you're FBS, you're going to have people get excited. Well, I can just tell you, I don't see people being excited about this. I just don't.
I don't think people are, like, if you put a poll out, Sac State fans anonymously, they're not excited about the MAC. They're excited about the FBS designation, that they are now part of the quote-unquote grown-up league.
So what does that mean? I mean, so what? So you're part of the grown-up league. So what does that mean? Does that mean all of a sudden that you never went to the games, but now you're going to go to the games, even though you wouldn't know even the towns that these schools are in the MAC and don't know anything about the MAC, and you probably don't even know what it stands for, and now all of a sudden you're going to start going to the games? No, it doesn't.
Well, it's two separate things, right? Sure, I don't think attendance is going to be dramatically higher because you have MAC teams coming in. What you're hoping is you get better recruits, you're competitive immediately once you get into the conference. And
I could see that happening. I could see them being competitive. The MAC's not great football. I could see Sacramento State being competitive. That part of it doesn't surprise me.
And that would be the part that starts drawing more fans. And I also wonder this. I know that Dr. Wood said they are on track with the Cal Expo Stadium. I wonder how much of that stadium cost is incorporated into the economic impact at $950 million, which is jobs, people that have to build the stadium, etc. So that's why I just think the definition of economic impact is really important to that number.
Yeah, you know what? I've been hearing I moved to Sacramento in 87. Right. And I heard that they were going to build this and they were going to build that.
Yeah.
And then it took, 20 years to get a AAA ballpark, not in Sacramento, then in West Sacramento. I had Greg Lukenbill, who I have the utmost respect for. Love Greg Lukenbill, right? Starting to build the baseball stadium right near Arco Arena. There's still the foundation out there in the weeds. So, that never happened. Then, okay, I've heard about Sacramento State. They're going to build this. They're going to build that. They're going to build this. Still waiting. So, that's talk is cheap to me, right? It's cheap to me. Then I heard about the rail yards and the rail yards and the rail yards and the rail yards and the rail yards. Well, finally, we've got construction going on there. And finally, we're going to have a soccer facility and a multi-purpose facility that I think is going to be a real big benefit to the downtown area, but still not built. It's being built, but it's 2026, and that's been talked about for years and years. Until I see construction going on, and again, I don't like the concept. Based on what Dr. Wood said, what his long-term plans are for Sacramento State, and you want to become less of a commuter school, and you're going to make freshmen live on campus. Well, you're not going to make freshmen live on campus and then expect them to head over to Cal Expo to go watch a football team that's not very good or is this or is that. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. If you're going to do it right. Cal Expo, you're going to have the football stadium at Cal Expo?
So would doing it right have been trying to see if that facility that's being built in the rail yards could be dual use for Sac State and the soccer team?
No.
Okay.
No, you have to build it on campus. No, you don't build a stadium off campus if you're going to have on-campus housing and if you really want a true student atmosphere, you build it on campus.
All right. Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yeah. I mean, Sac State's big, but Grant, you've been to some SEC schools that have their stadiums on campus.
They all do.
Yeah. Sac State's campus is not nearly what those campuses are.
No, that is correct. And when I say they all do, I'm generalizing, but I've been to several SEC games, and it's right there in Ohio State, the Horseshoe on campus, right? I mean, I can just go on and on. Big Ten schools on campus. Why are you going to take a non-football school, basically, which is what it's been, let's call it the way it is, in a non-football community, which is what Sacramento has been, and now all of a sudden you're going to go to the FBS, where you don't have a huge fan base anyway, and you want to transition in from being this quote-unquote commuter school and make freshmen live on campus, and now you're going to build a football stadium that's, 7 miles away at Cal Expo, and you think that that's going to entice and make a good college environment? No, it's not.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I went to a school where the stadium was off campus, and it was only 3 or 4 miles up 8, the freeway. It was Qualcomm. That's where
where the home of the Chargers played.
Right. That's where San Diego State played. They've recently now, in the last few years, built a stadium on campus. But what you miss by not having it on campus is a huge economic impact to people wanting to stay in the dorms and live in those areas, because you're generating business and new traditions of going to bars that are right there, or restaurants that are, I don't know, a quarter of a mile from the stadium. You don't have any of that. You're in the middle now, right?
Said Dorian, who has been a great contributor, used to play football at Sacramento State, said building a stadium off campus is ridiculous. It's not the move if that happens. The student experience has to involve a stadium on campus. It's already hard enough getting students to the game. Very true. I went to Bowling Green, and the stadium was all the way, if you're coming off I-75, it's like the first thing that you see when you get off of I-75. And there's nothing else around it in terms of like the campus, because then you have to, and a lot of times the students didn't even want to walk that far, because it was quite a walk to get to the football games. Now, I know that there are shuttles and there are things of that nature, but it just doesn't make sense to me.
You don't want
nothing about this makes sense to me.
If you're in college, you do not want to drive to tailgate.
No, you do not. You want to be on campus. You're exactly right.
I mean,
it doesn't make sense.
Where's College Game Day going to set up? The parking lot at Cal Expo?
Yeah. I'll believe it when College Game Day comes to Sacramento State. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to happen. Oh, my gosh.
You think we'll see that in our lifetime?
No.
All right.
No. Wow.
And here's the other thing I think we need to point out. Sac State could run the table in the MAC, and they very likely could be left out of the college football playoff. This is not a situation where your team goes 9-2, and you're going to be a contender because of the division that you are in.
Well, I would tell you, with their travel schedule and their road games, it's going to be rather difficult to win with that type of a travel schedule. That is not going to be easy. You're going to be in a cramped up airplane. You're not flying on, an Emirates Airbus A380. All right. You're going to be on a rinky dink small 737. Okay. With coach seats and a couple of first class seats. And you're going to be on the plane for 4 to 5 hours. And you're going to be playing at odd times. It's not going to be conducive to winning on the road. It's just not.
Well, they only have to do it 4 times a year, and then depending on what they do with their out-of-conference games that they need to schedule, which I would have thought maybe they are. They're already on that if they were going to make this move, because those games are usually scheduled a year, 2, 3 years
Correct.
out in advance.
That's correct. And those are games that normally you're going to get your butt kicked in because those are pay games. Those are show me the money games.
But
that's like, I will be your sacrificial lamb to come into your venue in front of 70,000, and you can beat us 75-0, but just make sure that check is deposited into our bank.
The only thing that's cool about those games for the student athletes is the facilities that they get to play in, and to say, I played at blank, right? And it will draw some players when you start seeing those postcards. We talked about it earlier this week, but that's a process, Grant. That was a process that began when I was in college at San Diego State, and they just finally started getting to a place where they were, competitive and could move to the Pac-12.
So we'll talk more about this at 4:00 with Ross Dellinger. You can call and get involved in this conversation at 916-779-0929. I'm also going to talk after Ross. I'm going to get into Adam Silver and the NBA and the Board of Governors and their thoughts as it relates to tanking. So we've got all of that coming up on the show right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
The new year is here, a fresh opportunity to tell people about your products and services so they know who to spend their money with. Fox Sports Radio has a Mount Rushmore of sports talk talent. Patrick, Cowherd, Gottlieb, and Sacramento's own Grant Napear, and they have an audience you can take to the bank. This is Fox Sports General Manager Kurt Bagelman. Sports Talk listeners are a unique, target-rich group of consumers. They're employed, they earn six-figure incomes, 2/3 own their own homes, and they listen to the radio longer. Let me repeat that. They listen longer, so your commercial message has more opportunity to be heard. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great schedule could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
Maybe it could be said that New Year's resolutions are simply meant to be broken. If, like most people, you've already abandoned your promise to live healthier in 2026, you're not alone. But when it comes to being healthy and happy, it's never too late to hit that reset button and start living your best life. Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center invites you to schedule a free healthy aging consultation with Dr. Dennis Godby, an accomplished author and expert in the art of aging gracefully. As we get older, things change. A lot of us will experience lower energy levels. Some of us may experience a lack of motivation. And for guys, the onset of middle age can mean a lower libido and oftentimes ED. These things can be caused by low testosterone levels, which can usually be safely and easily treated. Visit gettingbetternow.com today and schedule your free healthy aging consultation with Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center located in Midtown. Living your best life is something you can get started on today. Visit gettingbetternow.com. There's a unique place in downtown Sacramento on the corner of 16th and V Streets that is special for those who enjoy a fine cigar. It's called Hattaway Cigars. It's that little red place right there at 16th and V Streets. It's spelled Hattuey. The Hattaways are a distinguished family of cigar makers originally from Cuba. And for 3 generations, the Hattaways have produced world-class hand-rolled artisan cigars like the Habana and the Gran Cubano, world-class cigars favored by cigar aficionados from all over the world. Hattaway cigars originate from Cuban seeds, grown in the historic El Cibao Valley in the Dominican Republic, where many of the world's finest cigar tobaccos are grown. Hattaway Cigars' spacious lounge features a walk-in humidor with more than 100 different varieties of hand-rolled cigars. Hattaway Cigars, open daily downtown at 16th and V, online at hattawaycigars.com. Please be at least 21.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
(916-779-0929). This question: is the California taxpayer on the hook for all of the Sac State Crazy Mac decisions? No, there's no risk to the taxpayer. By the way, if you have nothing to do tonight and you want to go watch the Kings play, you can get tickets on the secondary market for as low as $18. There are many tickets available ranging from $18. And if you're stupid enough to want to sit on the front row, you can do so for $1,029. If you want to sit in the lower level, you can do so for as little as $47. But if you want to go upstairs, which are not bad, you can get seats for $19. How about that? 916-779-0929. Again, Ross Dellinger coming up in about 15 minutes or so as we talk about more of the Sacramento State's move to the FBS and the Mid-American Conference. We're talking about Team USA, the women. Congratulations. They beat Canada in sudden death overtime as we wind down the Winter Olympics in Milan. Let's get to some more phone calls. Dave in Elk Grove. Dave, welcome to the show.
Grant, how you doing?
Good, Dave.
Hey, listen, first for Dr. Wood from Sacramento State, if he thinks that program's going to generate $975 million in economic impact, I'd like to let him know I have an oceanfront house in Elk Grove that's for sale.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Not to joke, but I hope it doesn't ever become an oceanfront house in Elk Grove, okay? That would not be
good.
No,
we don't want to go there. But
no.
Did you get a chance to watch the game?
I watched parts of it. I did watch the overtime, but I missed the first two periods.
So it was a crazy game. It was a clean game. Canada got the early shorthanded goal in the beginning of the second period, but the ice was tilted towards Canada for 58 minutes of that game, and the Team USA coach took a little bit of a chance pulling the goalie a little bit earlier than normally, but it paid off. Hillary Knight had an unbelievable redirect on that shot to score the game tire, and then the 3-on-3 overtime. I was not a fan because I'm like you. I'm a hockey purist, and when they first started doing the 3-on-3 and overtime in the NHL, and then they do it in the Olympics now, I was not a fan. But I've kind of warmed up to it. It's pretty exciting. There's a lot of open ice. It is
exciting. It's very exciting, but it's not hockey. It is exciting, but it's not the way the game is meant to be played. It cheapens the game, in my opinion. I'm with you. It is very exciting, but you're playing for the gold medal and you got to go to a gimmick. No, play it full strength. Play it full strength. You're at the gold medal game. Let's go. Play it at full strength.
No, and I agree. I think they should play 120-minute overtime period at full strength, and then they go to a shootout like they have in
No
Olympics past.
No shootout. I'd rather do 3-on-3 than a shootout. Shootout's not hockey.
Yeah, or just do like the NHL does. Just keep playing until you get a winner.
That's my point. Exactly.
In the playoffs. Yeah. Yep. I mean, I agree. When you're playing for the gold medal, the stakes are high. You don't want any gimmick. I'm just saying, as a hockey fan, the 3-on-3 is fun to watch. And I just saw a stat yesterday. Macklin Celebrini in 4 games has 9 points, 5 goals, and he's 19 years old. Sidney Crosby is twice his age, 38, and in 4 or 5 Olympics, Sidney Crosby only has 6 goals total, and Macklin Celebrini has 5 in his very first Olympics. So great news for the future of the San Jose Sharks in the NHL.
He is the real freaking deal, isn't he?
Oh man, he's fun to watch.
He is the real deal.
And to think 19 was crazy.
I mean,
It's
amazing. It's amazing how good he is at this age of his life. He's amazing.
He can't even go have a beer with the boys after the game.
I bet you he does.
I'm sure he does.
That's
All
pretty
right, Grant,
amazing.
well, hopefully our men will make it past Slovakia into the gold medal match, and hopefully be another USA Canada rematch on the men's side.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that.
All
and
right,
I don't
Grant.
know. I think in Italy the drinking age is lower. Well, I know based on what I see when I go to Italy. But so I don't even know what the minimum drinking age is over there. But Ryan, did you watch any of the hockey game today?
Yes, I did. Thanks to Dave in Elk Grove. My wife.
Really?
Yeah, my wife turned to me and she goes, "You watch hockey?" Like, yeah, if it's a gold medal match or the playoffs.
Were you with the virtual reality goggles?
No. Just went family
You
room.
save that for the Stanley Cup?
Stanley Cup playoffs only, baby.
What row will you be sitting in this year for the Stanley Cup playoffs?
I have not chosen yet, but I think I'm going to probably keep the suite right at center ice, and then I'll also
You'll keep the suite at center ice.
Yeah,
How nice of you.
Yeah, I'll get 2 seats, so I'll keep the seat at center ice, and we'll put one behind the goalie as well. Those are 2 favorite spots.
Wow.
Okay, I love the 3-on-3. I think it's incredible.
It's very exciting, but it's not hockey in the sense of like you play the whole Olympics, you're playing for the gold medal. And yes, from an entertainment perspective, it is exciting. But I mean, it's just not really you're changing the essence of the sport around.
You are indeed. You know who needs to research formats that are alternative? The NBA. The 5-minute overtime with the length of games now, it's too much.
Here's what else is wrong. You get extra timeouts and overtime. If you are in the game, when overtime starts, you should get an extra foul. And every overtime session, you should get another foul. You don't want overtime games decided by your best players not being on the floor because they foul out. Again, you have to be eligible after 48 minutes, meaning if you have fouled out in those 48 minutes, you don't get a chance to come back and play and get an extra foul. But if you have 5 fouls or less, you should get an extra foul. Again, you're giving coaches extra timeouts. That's the part of overtime that has never made sense to me. Never.
You know, between you and Jerry, Adam Silver could really use you both as consultants. That's a really good idea.
The game would be a lot better if they listened to Jerry Reynolds, because the game would be played better. You wouldn't have that corner 3, which is basically a layup for NBA players, and it would change the way the game is played and fix a lot of the problems that we currently have with the league. So yes, they should listen to us, but listen to Jerry more than me.
Fair enough. But yeah, I think that there's a place for 3-on-3. I don't know how it completely fits into hockey because I don't know enough about hockey, but I would like to see more of it in certain situations.
I would tell you it is exciting, but the shootout is exciting. But the shootout isn't hockey. And I understand why they do it now in the regular season. I get that. It's like, to be honest with you, I don't like the baseball playoff regular season rules with a runner on second. But I understand why they did it. Okay, at least I understand it. I'm not crazy about it, but I understand it. But you don't do that in the playoffs.
No, you don't. Is this the point where sports are starting to turn their ear away from the purists and looking to make it more sexy for the younger generation?
100%. It's all about clicks. It's all about getting people to watch. And so, yes, 100%. Are we going to see that in the NBA? Are you going to start? I mean, when you go to overtime, are you going to have 4-on-4 instead of 5-on-5?
No. I think they're going to, the most logical thing would be run straight into, you don't have to take the big timeout, jump the ball up. You go to a target score. You keep the game running.
Yeah. Hey, folks, this is important, and I think it's such a great deed that Nick Delancey and his family are doing at DAS Mechanical. Are you, or do you know, a veteran or a family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? Well, Nick at DAS Mechanical, he's giving back by donating one to a veteran or a family in need. And all you need to do is go to dasmechanical.org, D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org. Nominate yourself or nominate someone you know to receive one with installation. It's very simple to enter. Again, go to dasmechanical.org, click the 2026 HVAC system donation tab. Just fill out a very short nomination form, and you can nominate now by going to dasmechanical.org. DAS Mechanical, family owned, locally owned, HVAC experts. They've served Sacramento for years. For all of your HVAC needs, DAS will exceed your expectations. Go to dasmechanical.org, and I'm going to coordinate with Nick, and I'm going to choose one of the individuals that go to dasmechanical.org for a nomination, and I'm also going to give them a $100 gift card from Bennett's. So we've got that going on. We've got Ross Dellinger to talk Sacramento State football. I want to get his take as someone that covers college football. And boy, the landscape of college football is ever changing. Think about what's happened to college football alone, Ryan, in the last 5 years. It's unbelievable. It just is.
What about Scott Pollard yesterday when he was sharing his story about Ozzie?
Yes.
Every school gave us a different answer when it came to the portal.
Yeah. That's what's wrong with college football right now, and it's college sports. There needs to be a firm governing body, not the NCAA.
Nope.
It needs to be policed. There needs to be one set of rules, and it needs to be followed.
The NCAA is, in my opinion, no more powerful than the two power conferences right now. And really, they're de facto property managers. They negotiate TV deals, and they disperse the money out to the schools.
916-779-0929. After we get into Ross Dellinger in a little bit, I want to turn the tide of the show to what has been such a talked about topic, particularly in the month of February, as it relates to NBA tanking, because there's some things that are coming out of the league office which could have a profound impact, particularly on Sacramento, as they try to, I guess, completely rebuild is what I think they're doing, but it could throw a couple of wrinkles into what they're trying to do. So we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show as well. But the Sac State story is the big story this week locally, going into the Mid-American Conference. And my question is why? I understand why from a FBS perspective. I understand why you would want to be in that group. But how you arrive at that, how you get there, and what it's going to cost, and the potential downside to that, like, it's just staggering to me. So Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports, is going to be coming on next. I'm very much looking forward to this conversation. Maybe he's got a different opinion than me. Maybe he's got a different take. We're going to find out. That's coming up next right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Homeowners, for any electrical project you need done, trust the good dudes at Gabroods. Locally owned, 5-star service experts, always transparent prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Call Gabroods or visit Gabroods.com. Gubroods.
Fox Sports Radio and Elk Grove Chevrolet proudly present Capitol Beer Fest, Saturday, March 7th at Capitol Mall. More than 70 brewers and at the Fox Sports Elk Grove Chevy Lounge, great cigars and a meet and greet with Grant Napear. Get your tickets at CapitolBeerFest.com. Capital with an O, BeerFest.com.
Do you need new tires? Have you been putting it off? Don't wait any longer. Get the best in tires today and save. Get to Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard, Sacramento. For the best selection of Bridgestone and Firestone tires, all on sale and on-site ready for your car or truck, get to Expert Tires and Brakes to save big on sets of Bridgestone and Firestone tires. Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard, Sacramento. Expert Tires and Brakes, the best place for tires and brakes.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
The voice of Sacramento sports is back.
Hear Grant Napear every weekday beginning at 3 right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
All right, we have been talking a lot about the big news about Sacramento State becoming an FBS school and going into the Mid-American Conference. I've told you that it does not make sense to me. I understand why you want to be in the FBS, but I don't understand this. The numbers, Dr. Wood, the president of Sacramento State, talking about an estimated economic impact of $975 million over 5 years. It just doesn't add up to me, but that's my opinion. Ross Dellinger covers college football and has for Yahoo Sports. He had a very interesting story on this earlier in the week. Ross, it's so nice to have you on the show. I really appreciate you making the time. How are you today?
Good. Yeah, good to be on.
So help me out here. All right, I understand the FBS allure. I get that. But like economically, I don't understand this. I know you're not an economist, but is this crazy to you?
Yeah, I am not an economist. I'm not good with numbers in general. I'm a word guy, a letter guy, but I do think that that $975 million is over 5 years. If you break it down, 200 to 250 million a year, which does still seem pretty high. I'm not sure where that's coming from, but that's what the collegiate consulting firm is what they used at Sacramento State. That's the economic impact they said will be generated in the Sacramento area by the move to FBS. you certainly can argue about that figure. But I will say this, historically, it's hard to argue that there isn't a fairly significant jump in a program's sort of national recognition, viewership, brand, than going from FCS to FBS. I mean, just the ESPN televised games, midweek games in November on the MAC. Everybody knows MACtion on Tuesday and Wednesday nights. Now you're talking about hundreds of thousands, if not in the millions of viewers. And that's something that you really don't get in FCS until you really get it deep into the playoffs, probably. And so that alone, I think, is probably a big reason that we're seeing the moves that both, not just Sacramento State, but North Dakota State made as well.
I know you're based on the East Coast, but I've lived in Sacramento since 1987, and I've talked about this for many, many years. I've been on talk radio in Sacramento for almost 30 years, and during that time, and I'm not exaggerating, I've maybe had 15, maybe 20 calls about Sacramento State football. This has never been a college football town. It's reflected in local attendance figures, and it's really reflected by the TV ratings nationally. This community doesn't even watch Alabama and Auburn or Texas and Oklahoma. It's just not a football market. And so there's that challenge, plus the fact that your facility is nowhere near what you would think of when you're talking about an FBS facility. There's talks about maybe building a stadium off campus. Like, there's a lot of other aspects of this, Ross, that make me scratch my head.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think they're banking on this being sort of the first step of building up a program, building up attendance, and building new, as you mentioned, new stadium potentially. I think this is sort of viewed as that first step. Everybody starts from somewhere, but look, I mean, there's a reason why Sacramento State had to pay what it had to pay, which is $18 million to the MAC and another $5 million to the NCAA in FBS entry fee, and then another $3 or $4 million in travel costs to fly all the MAC teams out every year.
Did you find that odd? Did you find that aspect of this deal odd?
It is. It was very unusual. Apparently not for Sac State. Apparently they do this for non-conference. They've done this in the past. They paid for air travel for other schools to come in, but for conference games, for conference peers, that is unusual. Very, very unusual, and very costly. I think over the 5 years, you have 4 games each, four games each year, each season against MAC teams that you'll have to fly them out, and that's around $150,000 to $200,000 a trip. If you do the math, it's in between probably $3 and $4 million.
I went to Bowling Green, albeit a long time ago. I covered the Mid-American Conference. I announced games over a 6-year period, albeit a long time ago. I still follow the conference. I've read on this show last year's home attendance figures for the Mid-American Conference are near the bottom of all FBS schools. You cover college football on a much more regular basis than I do. How would you characterize the Mid-American Conference?
Well, I think, between the MAC and Conference USA, those are probably, from a resource attendance standpoint and just overall success, probably the 2 bottom conferences in the FBS. Again, I'll go back, there's a reason that I think the MAC requested so much of an entry fee from Sacramento State of $18 million, and that's because they need it, right? They are financially stressed, and everybody's financially stressed in this kind of world where they're paying coaches so much, but also now have to pay athletes. So everybody's sort of got a hole in their budget, you might say. But the MAC has been stressed financially now for a number of years, and I think it probably is sort of a competition between them and Conference USA on on who sort of brings up the rear, so to speak, in FBS. The one thing the MAC does have, up and up until this point, maybe, is they're drivable to basically all of their campuses. They are very regional, which we've sort of missed in conferences these days. But the MAC is a sort of a regional, close knit group of schools, and that's sort of what they've leaned on. And so that's why this was, a bit of a surprise.
As far as a competitiveness breakdown, like that's the part of this that I could see. I could see Sacramento State, in not too distant future being competitive in this conference. Am I crazy for saying that?
No, not at all. In fact, I think, given what the investment that I've seen from the school, especially when it comes to coaches, hiring coaches in NIL and all that stuff, the roster, compensation, I could certainly see Sacramento State being in probably the top third, certainly the top half of the league when it comes to resources and pay and all that. So maybe not facilities quite yet. I know there's going to be some renovation to the stadium while they're building the new stadium to get it up to FBS sort of standards. So they might be a little behind in that, but I think you'll probably see them. I would imagine, in the top third, at least the top half of resources.
Ross Dellinger covers college football for Yahoo Sports. What do you see as the ceiling here, the biggest advantage? If you had a crystal ball, what are the real positives of this? And then what's the worst thing that could happen with this deal?
Well, for Sac State in the MAC, this feels like a trial run. It's a 5-year deal. That's it, and then it expires if it's not extended. And both sides, like usual, I'm sure have to agree to extend the deal. So it's a little bit of a trial run. But for Sac State, if they have success and they get good attendance numbers, and they make some noise nationally, maybe you could see after the 5 years them being attractive enough for another conference in the FBS or conferences in the FBS that makes more geographic sense, like the Mountain West or the Pac-12. I think that's certainly probably the goal, though not a stated publicly goal, but I would imagine that is the goal, is to eventually elevate and continue to elevate as much as they can. But you got to win, right? It is all about winning on the field, and so this is a pretty big, 3 to 4 year stretch here to prove that you can compete on the lower half of FBS.
You cover everything associated with college football, and there's been so much talk recently about the problems. Yeah, we know it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, but there are also other problems now with the transfer portal, what we saw last year with Lane Kiffin leaving in the middle of the playoffs to go to LSU, and we can just go right on down the list. If you had a magic wand and you could change anything about college football, what would you change? What are the biggest issues facing college football that you think really need to be fixed?
Oh, goodness. There's a lot. There's a lot right now. I think that, when you fix one thing, it has an impact on others. And so you really have to, you have to fix the top thing that's going to impact everything else. And there's one issue that's sort of just lording and hovering over college sports right now, and that's athlete compensation, the debate over athlete compensation and how athletes are paid. And right now, many administrators will tell you the system isn't working. The House settlement that was entered into where athletes get direct revenue share from their schools and a clearinghouse polices NIL deals to make sure that they are kosher, that it isn't working, that the cap isn't working, that schools aren't adhering to the revenue share cap, kind of a salary cap, and that the clearinghouse isn't doing enough to stop schools from going over the cap. And so I think to fix that issue, which would fix a lot of other issues potentially, is probably you need to find a way to collectively bargain with major college football and probably men's basketball players, the two sports that make the most money, that really turn a profit, perhaps the only two sports that turn a profit at many colleges. So if you do that, I think that will help in a lot of these other issues that college athletics is dealing with, but there are plenty.
I had Scott Pollard on the show yesterday, former NBA player, and his son Ozzy just went through the transfer portal and ended up at Hawaii. And he was telling me over the past weeks and the past few months in visiting all of the schools, he didn't hear anything similar. Everything he heard from the schools was completely different from one school to the next as it related to all of this, meaning that it's like no one's on the same page. It's just scatter. It's crazy right now. I don't know what else to say, but I was so surprised when Scott told me that everywhere he went, they heard different things from universities as it related to his son and the transfer portal and being able to play there in college football.
Well, that is certainly part of the problem, is that everybody is, all of the schools are sort of approaching this, and all the conferences are approaching this differently. And that was part of the agreement with the House settlement, the lawsuit that the NCAA settled. Part of the agreement is all the schools, there is a sort of a group of rules they're supposed to follow, but schools are just sort of on their own to make a lot of these decisions.
Final question as it relates to circling back to the MAC. I know how the administrators at Sacramento State feel, and I understand that the economic benefit to the MAC with the money they're going to be receiving from Sacramento State, I understand that. Just curious, and I'm asking you to speculate, how do you think the coaches at the MAC schools feel now about having a team on the West Coast in their conference?
Well, each one of these schools will be getting over $1 million over a 5-year stretch. And MAC schools have a budget of, probably as low as $25 million athletic budget. So you're talking about, roughly 1/20th of your budget. That's a pretty big boost. That's a nice sort of enhancement. So I'd imagine the coaches are appreciative of the money. They're probably not too excited about making the trip all the way across the country, but at the most, at the most, there's probably 5 or 6 schools in the MAC that will have to make that trip twice in the 5 years. Everybody else will.
So it's not a big deal, right?
Probably just be one. So it's not as big a deal, right?
It's interesting you say that, because I was looking at data from the Knight Newhouse College Athletic Database. And last year, like for instance, Ohio in Athens, their entire athletic department generated 15 to 20 million. All right. And I look at Central Michigan, their athletic department generated 7 million, which fell short of its 27.2 million in expenses. And you talk about the economic situation of the MAC. And that's, again, I keep on going back to numbers because we are talking about this being a business. And yes, I understand what you say about ESPN. I understand the exposure. But at the end of the day, it comes down to dollars and cents. And just from the economic aspect, and again, I know you're not an economist and I'm not either, but I always deal in common sense. This, from a common sense, smells bad to me. It doesn't pass the test. This, from a common sense perspective, when I look at all of the numbers that have been disclosed by the president of Sacramento State, just don't add up to me. It just does not add up to me. And that's the biggest problem I have with this. Maybe I'll eat my words and I'm happy to say I'm wrong. And listen, I would love to see it work for Sacramento. I think it would be great for the community. I love college football. I would love to see it happen. I just don't see it how it can work. I just don't see it, Ross. I really don't.
Well, these days, I will tell you, there's there's a lot of numbers that don't add up or make sense with the athlete compensation and the revenue share right now. A lot of schools, including the power conferences, are in a very deep financial hole.
I really appreciate your comments and talking about this, because you know a lot more about this than I do, because you're covered on a daily basis. So I guess with that said, will you be making a trip to Sacramento to see the powerful, mighty Mid-American Conference Sacramento State Hornets in a game at any time? Will you make the trip from Washington, D.C. all the way out here to Sacramento?
I don't know if I can sell that one to the bosses, but I'll try.
All right. Hey, I appreciate your time. Thank you, Ross. Seriously, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. You know what is interesting to me, Ryan, about that entire conversation?
Yeah.
Is how he classified the Mid-American Conference economically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We are talking about business, right? We are talking about dollars and cents. And you can talk all you want about this ESPN deal, right? And what they do on Tuesdays and Wednesday nights. But yet the MAC is hemorrhaging,
right,
from a dollars and cents perspective. And that's not unlike a lot of other conferences. So explain to me how established schools in the MAC that have been there for decades and decades, okay, and now Sacramento State, the new kid on the block, in a non-football community, in a commuter school that doesn't even have a facility that you can complement, is going to make it. I'm sorry. Just, again, common sense, it doesn't add up to me.
Well, you just said it. It's decades and decades, right? And that is a lot different than Sacramento State coming into the MAC with a ton of financial backing from the NIL donors. There's nothing new for some of those MAC teams. They've been in the conference for 15, 20 years. And so I think that could be the separator. And the second thing is strictly around, and Ross said it, you get 250,000, whatever it is, that watch the ESPN games. Well, how does that translate to recruiting? What does it look like out there? And they're dealing also with the big.
Okay, but it might translate to recruiting, but it's not translating to get fannies in the seats anywhere in the MAC. That's the part that I keep talking about. It may translate to getting better quality athletes, but it's not translating into the turnstile.
Because those communities, they have a sample size. They know what they're going to get. Probably.
But those are football communities. The Midwest is night and day from the West Coast. There's not even a comparison. It's like two different countries, and yet they're not saying yes to it. Why do I think that a non-football community is going to say yes to it here?
Okay,
it just doesn't make sense to me.
Classify them as football communities if you want. How many people live in those communities, Grant?
Not like Sacramento, but they all watch football, and their Saturdays revolve around football, whether it's locally or the Big Ten. They talk about it. Listen, if you're in the car listen to me. If you're in the car driving on a Saturday afternoon and you just want to stick to the not satellite radio, AM, FM, traditional radio, you will have trouble finding anything other than talk shows about college football.
Talking about those teams?
All teams.
Okay.
MAC teams, Big Ten teams. It's like the way of life.
Okay, so their Saturdays might surround college football, but it doesn't surround their team playing in their town. They're going out to a bar to watch somebody in the Big Ten. They're going out somewhere else to watch somebody in
at least they're watching. They don't even do that here in Sacramento. At least they're going to a bar and a restaurant to watch football, unlike here in Sacramento.
But isn't that the whole point of this? This is a 5-year gamble. This is like, can we have proof of concept in 5 years? Will the MAC and being in the FBS stir up this community? You seem to have the answer, and I don't necessarily disagree with it, but that's what this gamble is. You're putting it all in right now and hoping that it turns out. And then the second question to me becomes, if it does turn out for those 3, 4, 5 years because there's a lot of hype around it. Does it stay? Is that hype maintained? That's where I think you get the fall off. This was the only way to get to the big jump. The only way.
Interesting dynamic, to say the least. We'll talk more about this at 916-779-0929. My thanks to Ross Dellinger from Yahoo Sports. We're back right after this on Fox Sports Sacramento.
It's back, Sacramento. Fox Sports Radio and Elk Grove Chevrolet are proud to present Capitol Beer Fest Saturday, March 7th at the Capitol Mall. Join us for a day of sampling God's nectar from over 70 great brewers, plus music and food, and at the Fox Sports Elk Grove Chevy Lounge, get a great cigar and meet Grant Napear. Most important, of course, 100% of Beer Fest proceeds benefits Runnin' for Rhett Youth Fitness. Get your Beer Fest group together and get your tickets now at CapitalBeerFest.com. That's Capital with an O, beerfest.com. CapitalBeerFest.com.
If you need a new set of top brand tires, Downtown Ford Sacramento has great news. For a limited time, we'll beat any competitor's price on a set of 4 tires. Then, kick you down a mail-in rebate of up to $150, and that includes major brands like Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Hankook, and more. Some restrictions apply. Visit downtownfordsacramento.com for details. Downtown Ford Sacramento on Howe Avenue. Online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrud Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrud's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrud's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrud's, locally owned for more than 30 years. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's. G-U-B-R-U-D-S. Gabrud's.com.
Just outside of Sacramento is a place where families build friendships that last a lifetime. The Golden State Shooting Center is a clay target shooting facility. It's the home of numerous local high school and youth sport shooting teams. Skeet and trap shooting is a safe, exhilarating sport. School team members can compete for numerous college scholarship opportunities. Teams are being formed now, and new members are welcome. Call the Golden State Shooting Center for details or visit them online at goldenstateshootingcenter.com.
Decisions determine results. So which path do I want to take? Help people in need or stand on the sidelines watching? Worry about how to pay for school or have my education paid for? Push myself and learn new skills or stay the same? My decision is to serve part-time with the Army National Guard, and my results will be life-changing. What will you decide? Go to NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service.
Sponsored by the California Army National Guard. Aired by the California Broadcasters.
All right, if you want to react to our interview, please do so. A lot of good comments on our YouTube page, Fox Sports Sacramento, at 916-779-0929 to call the show or text the show. From the 209, hey, Grant, great questions and interview. Let's be honest, the move by Sac State is a total dice roll based on hope and not reality. Good stuff. Well, that's what Ryan just said. It is a roll of the dice, and it's a 5-year roll of the dice. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't work, well, then I guess what do you have to lose, right? I mean, you're going to lose a lot of money, and you're going to have probably a new president at Sacramento State, because I don't think the president would survive this. But you're right. It is a roll of the dice. Wouldn't you characterize it that way, Rhino?
100%. And
Yep.
I go back to, and we had this conversation, how much of this is being pushed by the big donors. So does Luke Wood
a lot
survive it or not? You know, maybe he does because he's following what they're asking for.
Well, the donors are there. I don't think there's any question about that. Donors are fabulous. You need them now in college football. If you don't have them, you can't survive. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's number one. But you can have all the donors in the world. If you don't get people to go to the games, it's not going to work.
Very true. You know what's interesting to me, and I'm not college football guy. I don't stay up with, 4-star recruits and what's going on. But as soon as Sac State started to get a lot more of the donations, and I forget what the group that came together was called, but I was watching the Grant Folsom playoff game, and it seemed like every other player was a Sac State recruit. And so I guess the big thing for me is how long is this like a big push right out of the gates and we're just going to go all out? Or is this something financially that will be continued to be maintained?
Good question. 916 779 0929. Have you seen, as we transition to the NBA and the Kings and what's going on tonight with the game and who's going to play and who's not, have you seen the video with LaMelo Ball and his accident in Charlotte? Have you watched any of that?
Yeah, I retweeted it earlier this morning.
So he hits the car and leaves. But he swerves into an oncoming vehicle, gets out of the vehicle. Then after a moment or two or three or four, maybe I shouldn't put a time frame on that. That's
Yeah.
incorrect of me. I apologize. It could have been, just gets in a Lamborghini and drives off. By the way, it's not like he evaded authorities. The police were already on the scene. But I mean, he's in the oncoming lane. There's no turn. I don't know if he's on his phone or he fell asleep or his vehicle, the Hummer, had a mechanical defect that caused it to go into the other lane of traffic.
Well,
the video is pretty amazing.
It is. I think we need to also put this. It was not at a very high speed, or at least it didn't appear to be at a freeway speed, right, Grant? I would characterize
No, it was not at freeway speed. That is correct. The both vehicles had significant damage.
They did. One of the wheels on his Hummer came off. The first thing that I thought seeing it was that's a Cybertruck. And I'm like, that thing can drive itself.
Okay, a Cybertruck. I'm sorry.
No. You're right. You were right that it was a Hummer. So my first reaction was wrong. So I'm like, well, why are you not letting the car drive if you're doing something else in the car? But then when I realized it was a Hummer, I mean, I'm not too transparent, or I'll be super transparent. Grant, there's times where I've taken my eyes off the road. I've had my phone in my hand and I look up and I'm going a little bit to the left and you correct. And luckily there's nobody there. That's what that looked like to me. Just something else was going on. Attention may have been somewhere else, but yeah, it was very bizarre. Because I mean, Grant, he wasn't just over the line; he was.
Oh my gosh, no!
In the lane.
Yeah,
I think based off of the video, and again, we don't know the timelines.
Right.
I think he did everything with the police that the police needed.
It looked like that. Yeah.
And
it's not like they were going after him when he got on the Lamborghini and said, "Where are you going?" Yeah.
No, exactly. And I think it was just a case of whether somebody else was waiting for the car or the cops said, we're going to be here till the vehicles are towed. And he took off. So it's just he was unhurt, apparently, according to reports. But yeah, very scary scene. Troubling scene.
916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. So we go back to the Kings and we go back to what Adam Silver had to say, or the news coming out of the NBA, as it relates to perhaps taking care of tanking. And I went over this in the first hour. Some of the things that were being discussed could have a real impact on a team like Sacramento, who, let's face it, is not going to change their team around in one draft. You can certainly improve your team in one draft, but first-round draft picks can be protected only top 4 or top 14. Lottery odds freeze at the trade deadline or a later date. I like that one personally. No longer allowing team to pick in the top 4 in consecutive years and or after consecutive bottom 3 finishes. You can't pick in the top 4 the year after making the conference finals. I agree with that. Lottery odds allocated based on 2-year records. Interesting. Lottery extended to include all play-in teams. I don't like that. I mean, so these are some of the ideas. Some of them I like, some of them I don't like. And again, these are just ideas and concepts. There's nothing that is going to be put in stone just yet. What about you? Anything that resonated with you, Ryan?
Yeah, it's one that we've discussed here on the show, freezing the odds at a certain point in the season when you have a fair enough sample size.
Yep.
The one that you said you're a fan on about teams that make the conference finals not being in the top 4 the next year, or a team that, is bad and is in the top 4 for the second time, they can't be there. I have a problem with that one personally, because
and I understand why. It kind of, and I don't want to step on you, but I want to make sure, I want to see if I'm reading your mind and you tell me I'm right or wrong. If you don't mind me doing this, to me, you're basically penalizing a team for great management, okay, for moves that they made in yesteryear that are now paying off years later.
Spot on. And especially in this CBA, you are deflating the ammunition that they have. And in many cases, or in some cases right now, those are some of the better teams in the NBA. The conference finals one, to me, also just smacks of the Tyrese Halliburton, Jason Tatum's situations, because you have Indy now that is looking at possibly having a high pick. There was a very interesting article in ESPN. I believe it was by Tim Bontemps, and I thought it was a fascinating idea on how you fix this problem. At the All-Star break, for the teams that are in the top 14, you flip the formula. So now the Kings at 12 wins, even though they are the worst, you may have teams in front of you that have more wins, which means their chances are better as of the All-Star break at getting the number 1 pick. However, the separation, if you look at the records now, we're talking between 12, 14, 18 wins. That now pushes those bottom teams to play for something, to play for the better odds. And
very interesting.
You would have to go back and historically look at the data about the gaps between, let's talk about really what we're talking about, the worst 5 teams in the league. Are there dramatic gaps there? And if there's not, I think that could be a fascinating way of looking at it as well.
Did you see what the owner of the Phoenix Suns said?
I saw a paraphrased version of it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, the Suns, who are having a resurgent year, which I'm not surprised, and I think that the move and the trade that they made was a really good move. But Matt Ishbia, is that how I pronounce his name right?
Correct.
I'm sorry.
Yep, you got it.
Again, he responded to a Yahoo Sports story about tanking on X. And he said this. He said, "This is ridiculous. Tanking is losing behavior done by losers. Purposely losing is something nobody should want to be associated with. Embarrassing for the league and for the organizations. And to talk about this as strategy is ridiculous. If you are a bad team, you get a good pick. That makes sense. But purposely shutting down players and purposely losing games is a disgrace and impacts the integrity of the whole league." Your thoughts on the owner of the Suns saying that?
He's correct.
What do you think Adam Silver thinks about him making comments like that? You think he's like, we need more owners to talk like that, or do you think stay in your lane?
That's a great question. because he's coming from a place where he was not expected to have a good team this year, and that team has turned into something. At this point, I think Adam Silver's okay with that because you're publicly saying this isn't cool as one of the 30 people that leads an NBA franchise. My problem with this is I think we are treating a symptom instead of treating the disease.
Yep.
And the disease is the lottery and the way that the draft order is selected. If you fix that, I believe the solutions to this become a little more simple.
We are due for a break. We'll continue on this topic, the Kings and the Magic tonight. Well, boy, it's been a while since the Kings won a game. We'll talk about that. We'll talk more about what the NBA is thinking about with concepts to fix this ongoing problem. That's next here on Fox Sports Sacramento. We are Fox Sports.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrood Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabroods now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabroods, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabroods. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabroods, locally owned for more than 30 years. Gubroods.
Call the good dudes at Gabroods. Gubroods. Gabroods.com.
Some call it overplanning. At Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator system. When the power goes out, your Generac system kicks in, so you've always got power no matter what. Upgrade your home with a Generac home standby generator system professionally installed by the energy pros at Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country, and your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Maybe it could be said that New Year's resolutions are simply meant to be broken. If, like most people, you've already abandoned your promise to live healthier in 2026, you're not alone. But when it comes to being healthy and happy, it's never too late to hit that reset button and start living your best life. Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center invites you to schedule a free healthy aging consultation with Dr. Dennis Godby, an accomplished author and expert in the art of aging gracefully. As we get older, things change. A lot of us will experience lower energy levels. Some of us may experience a lack of motivation. And for guys, the onset of middle age can mean a lower libido and oftentimes ED. These things can be caused by low testosterone levels, which can usually be safely and easily treated. Visit gettingbetternow.com today and schedule your free healthy aging consultation with Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center located in Midtown. Living your best life is something you can get started on today. Visit gettingbetternow.com.
Fox Sports Radio and Elk Grove Chevrolet proudly present Capitol Beer Fest, Saturday, March 7th at Capitol Mall. More than 70 brewers, and at the Fox Sports Elk Grove Chevy Lounge, great cigars and a meet and greet with Grant Napear. Get your tickets at CapitolBeerFest.com. Capital with an O, BeerFest.com.
I love the exercise classes at the senior center, and I love eating healthy, but it can be expensive. BenefitsCheckup.org connected me to programs that help me pay for groceries. Visit BenefitsCheckup.org today.
Supported by the U.S. Administration for Community Living.
Kings back in action after the All-Star break at home before they hit the road, taking on the Orlando Magic. Keegan Murray back. What are you expecting from Keegan Murray? What do you want to see him accomplish here in the final 26 games?
This needs to be his team. I want to see him be the leader. It's not going to be vocally and very outward, but I want to see play go through him. Whether he misses 15 shots a game, whether he makes most of his threes, I need to see his skill set, the growth and the confidence showing, not that you can be a number one player, but you need to be somebody that's on the scouting report and somebody that can be a 2A to whoever your 1 and 1B are going to be.
And there's no excuse now. I mean, not that I have given him excuses, but the point is, and he doesn't make excuses either, but you can't say, well, it's Sabonis is getting the ball and you have Zach LaVine taking 25 shots, and like that doesn't exist now.
No, it doesn't. And here's what I also want to see from Kings fans that are still watching and paying attention. Do not judge Keegan Murray on his 3-ball. I'm not going to play the defense card that he's the best defender on the team, has the toughest matchup every night. Judge him on the totality of his offense, because too many fans are so enamored with him missing threes that you are missing some of the very good things that he is doing from the mid-range. Even if the shot doesn't go in, look at the skill set and his ability to create space. One of the cool things, Grant, that I've seen about Keegan is he is now finding his spaces in the mid-range, and that is part of growing into an offensive game.
Folks, are you going to the game tonight? Do you want to go to the game tonight? I'm just wondering how many people listening are going to go to the game tonight, or have tickets and are not going to the game, or turn down tickets.
Somebody said $19 tickets. Nope, parking's too expensive.
Is that what they said?
Yes, in the YouTube chat.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. Oh, my gosh. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
What do you think the attendance is going to be like tonight?
Not good, and I think it's going to be that way for the rest of the season.
They might need to pull a second or third Hello Kitty night out of their back pocket.
Yeah. 916-779-0929. Looking forward to meeting everybody on the 7th at the Capitol Beer Fest. So I'll be out there. Come on and say hello, and let's hang out and have fun for a couple of hours. That is coming up on the 7th. You going to be out there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm going to be right there with you. Are we going to have cigars?
Sure, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And the Running for Rhett charity, which I've expressed on this show, I've got a very personal connection with that. So I know how phenomenal they have done with Running for Rhett over the years. And it has grown to just an incredible level based on hard work by the parents of Rhett, Randy and Beth. And they've done yeoman's work. And I'm very happy to contribute to that. So I'm looking forward to being out there on March 7th. Going to be great.
Very much so.
We can have a cigar if you want. Yeah.
Yeah. Fox Sports we're going to have cigars provided if you come by and stop by the tent. You can take a picture with Napes.
You can take a picture with me. How do you really want
hydration? All right. This is a perfect example. So Braxton Bar in the YouTube chat Speaking of Keegan, he has been worthless for 2.5 seasons.
Worthless?
Yes, worthless.
Wow. I mean, worthless? Like, is that fair?
As much as we or the fan base gets knocked for overvaluing players, we are also so quick to throw players under the bus. Where did this team go when Harrison Barnes went away?
Yeah. Down the toilet.
Not always the stuff that shows up on the stat sheets.
Yep. From the 530, very interesting. I want to read this. Grant, as a UC Davis alum, I can't help but compare Sac State's disastrous actions attempting to improve their athletics with my own school and laugh. While Sac State attempts to move up with all this so-called financial backing and hype, UC Davis is slowly building something worthwhile across the causeway. They're joining the Mountain West in all sports, but football this summer, and just announced a $250 million athletic facility master plan backed mainly by donor gifts, which include luxury suites and concourses at the football stadium. The football program has also made consecutive FCS quarterfinals and will be in contention for an FCS title in the near future. It's likely in a couple of years you'll see Davis as a full Mountain West member, while Sac State remains in the MAC or may be forced into FBS independence or worse. I would be curious to hear your thoughts about the comparison. Well, as somebody that moved here in 1987 and got directly involved with the UC Davis football team in announcing their games on back then cable TV, and having great affinity and respect for Jim Soker and what he did at UC Davis, and seeing the consistency throughout the years of that community with their football program, I've always kind of looked at them with a great deal of respect because they get it. And I have a lot of positive things to say about what they've done over the years with their football team. As far as me to directly compare it to what Sac State's doing, I can't really do that. I've gotten to know a lot of great people with Sacramento State, the late John Matos, or Bob Matos, excuse me, the late Bob Matos, who was the coach of Sac State. It's the first time that I met Greg Knapp when he was a graduate assistant on Coach Matos' staff, and I used to go out there every week and always interview Bob and always promote their games. And I was involved in many Causeway Classics as an announcer. So I don't have an allegiance to either program. I didn't go there. But to me, in a nutshell, UC Davis gets it, has always gotten it, understands, deals with reality, understands who they are and what is obtainable. And Sacramento State, I can't say that about.
They embrace who they are. And
Yes.
that is a small example of what I talk about when a program organically begins to grow and has sustained success at a lower level. You start testing yourself against better teams. UC Davis knocks off Stanford. What was it? 20 years ago now? I remember that game. That's how you do it usually. And so I'm not knocking Sac State, but a jump for UC Davis to the Mountain West in many ways seems more feasible.
I have always looked at the football program at UC Davis with a great deal of respect, in the sense of it reminded me of when I covered Division III college football for a while in one of my previous stops. And I covered Millikan University, and they had a great football team. And Augustana was in their conference, which was the cream of the crop. and it always came down to Milliken and Augustana for the championship.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to cover that team, Milliken University, on a regular basis in Illinois. And I just loved doing it. And when I came to Sacramento, and the first time I went on campus at UC Davis, it reminded me of that. And when I met Jim Soker and got to know Jim and being around their football program, it reminded me of what I covered with Milliken and Augustana, two great Division III programs among the very top in the country. And the way they went about it, the pride that they had on campus,
Right.
It just had a great feel to it. It's kind of hard to put into words, but it kind of, I was like, wow, it was kind of a wow to me.
UC Davis is very loyal to, and not just the fans, the program, but those who are running the program. It has a very much family feel. My best friend growing up, Tony Case, he was one of their star receivers. I got to spend 3-4 years around that team, and so many of those players stayed around Davis. Tim Plow, who was a backup quarterback on that team, is now the head coach at Davis. And at that time, before that, Coach Biggs was the coach. And to see how they operated, it just, it's special. It's very special.
It is very special. And I think it's something that should be commended for the way they have really conducted themselves when it comes to athletics and football. And I'm a big fan of Jim Les, with the basketball team. I've known Jim for, I'm getting old, 35 years. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of what they do. I'm also a big fan of those that instead of just talk, they back up with actions. And that's Nick Delancey at DAS Mechanical, because Nick and his family, they're always looking to give back to the community. So it really gets down to this, all right? He wants to make another individual family, their life better. And so if you know a veteran or family in need, or if you're that individual and you're in the need of a heating or air conditioning unit, I've got great news for you, because DAS Mechanical, they're giving back and they're donating one to a veteran or family in need. It's easy to do. You just go to dasmechanical.org, nominate yourself or someone you know, and receive one with installation. Very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org. That's D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC system donation tab. Fill out a very short nomination form, and that's all you need to do. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. Family-owned, locally owned, HVAC experts serving Sacramento for years. For all of your HVAC needs, DAS will exceed your expectations. That's dasmechanical.org. And I am going to work with Nick, and at random, I'm going to take an individual that goes to DAS Mechanical and makes a nomination and give them a $100 gift card to Bennett's Restaurants. Love that. Love charitable donations, endeavors, work. That's great. Good job by DAS Mechanical. Hey, Grant's Rant is coming up. Be my last rant of the week. Rhino, you ready to go tomorrow at 3 o'clock, buddy? Sitting in this chair for me?
Yes, indeed. Can't wait for it. Got some good guests lined up for you. Mark Haynes be coming on to talk some NBA with us. And
you know what? Good job there by getting Mark on. Good for you. That is a great get. Good for you.
Appreciate that.
So we got a lot going on, because in 2 weeks from Saturday, again, we've got the Capital Brew Fest. So I'll be there. You'll be there. Come on out and say hello to us on that day, Saturday, 2 weeks from Saturday. Yes, indeed. We might have a couple of other things we'll be promoting here in the very near future. So we've got a lot to look forward to, including another hour of today's show. My thanks to Ross Dellinger. If you missed the interview at 4 o'clock, you can go check it out wherever you find your favorite podcast shortly after we are done with this show. But Grant's Rant coming up next right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Stop me if you've heard this before. The NBA has a tanking problem. The league has spent years trying to discourage it, and none of it's worked. Every season, teams find a loophole. This year, it's the Wizards and the Jazz leading the way. Washington's approach is at least honest in its dishonesty. The Wizards traded for Trae Young and Anthony Davis, two all-star level talents with no real intention of letting them play. Injuries are the explanation. Even if the timing feels convenient, losses are the priority. Utah's version, more creative. The Jazz are pretending to compete. They brought in Jaren Jackson Jr. along with Lauri Markkanen, and you would think those guys playing meaningful minutes through 3 quarters would be enough, but then they get benched. The players are active, so technically it's not tanking. In reality, it's a fancy way of trying to manipulate a winnable game and turn it into a loss. And until the NBA finds a real solution, franchises will not stop tanking. They'll just keep getting more creative about how to lose. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. These days, everybody's searching for ways to save on insurance, scrolling comparison sites, digging through tips, chasing deals, but Liberty Mutual makes it simple. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance to save you money. And when you bundle, those savings really come through. It's insurance built for real people with a team that goes above and beyond to help you keep more of what matters. No hunting, no hassle, just confidence that your coverage customized with savings in mind. Start your quote at libertymutual.com. 2 words, prostate exam. Relax. Screening starts with a simple finger-free blood test. Around 1 in 8 men in the United States will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. Prostate cancer can have over a 99% 5-year relative survival rate when caught at a localized or regional stage. If you're 40 or over and have a prostate, visit relaxitsabloodtest.com to see if a PSA blood test is right for you. Talk to your doctor about screening and the next steps. Sponsored by Novartis.
Tell your friends. Grant's back. Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst. K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
It's time for Grant.
All right, Rhino, what do you have for me?
Grant, I only have one option for you. Georgia, you should open your own traffic school. Yes, I'm talking about the University of Georgia Bulldogs, Grant. Their long, illustrious list of players that have had incidents with vehicles, especially at high rates of speed. 2 more have added to the list. Linebacker Chris Cole and another player were arrested Wednesday night on misdemeanor charges of speeding at the maximum limits and other traffic-related charges.
Kirby Smart should be embarrassed that this has continued to go on year after year after year after year. And very often, you'll see these individuals on the football field the following Saturday. This is not an isolated incident. This is an ongoing problem, okay? It happens often, okay? And these, shouldn't say these schools, but we're talking about Georgia now. It's literally almost every single month. Now, I mean, when I'm talking about Kirby Smart, he has released players from the team after they've been arrested. But unfortunately, there are other players that don't receive that type of punishment. It is, I don't understand it. I really don't. And I don't understand why Myles Garrett and Shedeur Sanders, two very well-known athletes in Cleveland, Ohio, just to pick on them for a moment, are driving over 100 miles per hour, knowing full well that if they are stopped, that it will be well publicized and it will be in the news, and it doesn't seem to bother them. I believe that Garrett's now had 7 or 8 speeding infractions that have made you raise your eyebrows. Shedeur Sanders had 2 at excessive rates of speed within a very close period of time. And I understand that a lot of these individuals drive cars that can go very fast, although you don't have to have an expensive car to have it go very fast. I get that. And I understand the thrill of going fast on an open road. I understand all of that. But, you know, when you're getting pulled over on residential streets and on highways with a lot of vehicles, and you're driving at 100 miles an hour or more, you should have your freaking head examined. And this happens time and time again. You know, if you go back to November 23rd, one of the Georgia Bulldogs offensive linemen, I think his name was Napear Daniels, he and his mother were arrested, and Daniels is facing 17 criminal charges, including 2 felonies, as he tried to attempt to flee from police at speeds in excess of 150 miles per hour. Oh, by the way, he had his 2 younger siblings in the car. Yes, Kirby Smart did dismiss Daniels from the team the day after his arrest. But why is it always like seemingly Georgia all the time? Like, how is it that this is an ongoing problem at a university, not every month, but year after year after year after year? It's unbelievable. It doesn't change. What is going on there? Seriously, what is going on? How is it that this program under Kirby Smart has players repeatedly driving over 100 miles per hour and getting arrested, among other things? It's embarrassing. And I think Kirby Smart, and even though I don't think Kirby Smart should be responsible for the actions of an 18, 19, or 20-year-old. I mean, he's their coach. He's not their father. He's not in the car with them. But, like, what is the message that is being passed on to these young individuals? And, hey, I was 18 once. I did stupid things. I've driven fast before. I've done things I wasn't proud of. But, I mean, you know, we're talking about Division I football. You're talking about, like, being on that stage, and it happens over and over and over and over again. What's the message? What is going on there, Georgia? Is the message not getting through? Like, what are the players that have their entire football lives, which basically now with the nil money mean their lives, in the palms of their hand, not to mention you could kill yourself driving at that rate of speed? What are you thinking about? It just is incredible. Ryan, it happens all the time. It's almost like every single month I'm reading stories on Georgia football players that are charged with speeding at maximum limits. It happens all the time. What's going on there in Athens?
Grant, it's like clockwork. Oh, it's almost spring. A Georgia player got arrested for speeding. I just would like to see Kirby Smart, because you now have a documented track record at the program of this. There needs to be a flat, you're going to stand next to me for a game.
Yeah.
This
By
is
the way,
rule.
did you see the bonds on those 2 players? One was a $26 bond,
Yes.
and the other one was a $39 bond.
Think they called a bondsman?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, no, it's crazy.
It is. It is. Hey, what about the overreaction about this Chicago Bears stadium that might go into Indiana?
There's been a lot of talk about what's going on. Soldier Field is an iconic stadium which has been redone and was redone it took a period of years on Lakeshore Drive. Personally, and I say this growing up, being at Yankee Stadium 7 Sundays every fall to watch the New York Giants in the Bronx, people became outraged, or some people became outraged when the Giants moved to New Jersey. And it's been a phenomenal success story. It's been great. It is Gosh, I think it's closer to Manhattan than Yankee Stadium was, if you're really looking at it that way in terms of Midtown. So, like, the fact that it's in New Jersey never bothered me. I mean, it's closer to Midtown Manhattan than Yankee Stadium was. And so, or at least I think it is. I don't like the concept that I'm seeing with the Bears because that's far away from the city limits of Chicago, and that doesn't make sense to me. What did you think when you saw that?
With teams wanting to, in some cases, have enough space to put some entertainment features and hotels around stadiums, I don't have a massive issue with it. And you just said the stadium is right on the lake, which makes you have no idea how hard it is dealing. And I don't mean hard with them, but the restrictions with construction on a body of water with the Army Corps of Engineers. It's very expensive and difficult. So,
by the way, that's about 25 to 30-minute drive to where they're proposing the stadium from where Soldier Field is right now. It's in the border, obviously, of Indiana and Illinois. It's called Hammond. It's in Northwest Indiana.
Okay, so I've never been to Chicago except through the airport for a connection. Is it 10, 15 minutes from Chicago downtown proper? What's that commute?
No, you mean from where the stadium would be?
No, from where the stadium is now.
Oh. Half hour.
Okay.
It's not close. And it's not close.
I guess you're going to have some fans that are in favor of it because you probably have fans from that direction that are coming in to.
Yeah, it's the fans are. I'm not even talking about it from a fan perspective. By the way, the lease at Soldier Field with the city runs through 2033. I'm just talking about, one of the great franchises in the history of the NFL. The Hallis, the family, Dick Butkus. I mean, I can go on and on. The Chicago Bears. Really? You're going to play in Hammond, Indiana?
They would still be the Chicago Bears.
Yeah. I guess.
I mean,
not that I guess. Yes, they will be the Chicago Bears, but that's not like the Meadowlands, which when you walk in the concourse of the Meadowlands and you look through the open air concourse, you can see Manhattan. You can almost reach out and touch it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, it's 7 miles from Midtown Manhattan. This is a little bit different.
Okay. That's a very fair point.
I don't really care one way or the other because I don't live there. But if I were a fan of just the Bears in the Chicago area, I don't like it. When you go to Chicago and you're on Lakeshore Drive, like it's such an iconic part of the city, Soldier Field. Like it's kind of like a wow to me. I mean, it's not right in Midtown. It's just on the periphery of Midtown Chicago, if that makes sense. Downtown. I mean, it's in a beautiful area, and it's just, to me. Again, maybe I'm being impartial here because I used to cover the Bears in the mid 80s and I was at Soldier Field for a number of games, but it's an iconic area. It just is. It's an iconic venue. Even though it's completely different than it was when they did the, huge renovation on it.
Yep. The 916 says Kirby Smart needs to invest in a PlayStation 5 with racing games in their locker room. Maybe that will help. Here's an idea. Just take your rig to a racetrack.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yep. From the 916, are you guys going to shave your head at the Brewfest? You know what? Make me an offer.
Seriously. An offer. Him.
Make me an offer. You don't want to be involved in it, huh?
No, I would do it. Of course I would do it. But I think the offer should be not a shaved head. I think you need to go with the mohawk.
Yeah, the mohawk I had there for a few moments when we did that 3 or 4 years ago. We raised $16,000 for charity.
It's a lot of money for a good cause. Yeah.
But I got a lot of people that made fun of me, so I need to make a little money on my own this time around. I'll be happy to donate a significant portion to charity, but with all the abuse that I took, I've got to make it worth my while too. Okay.
You got made fun of? I didn't think you looked that bad.
No. I had people making fun of me. You know how sensitive I am and how that hurt my feelings.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah, and you take those things really hard.
I mean, I really do. Sure. So
did your hair grow back the same?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Yeah. I liked it for a while. I mean, it's, as you know, you experienced it with me. It's pretty easy. Take a shower, boom, you're ready to go.
Done.
Don't have to worry about how your hair looks in the morning. You're ready to go.
Yep. But the only problem is when you get to that awkward stage, right?
Yes.
Where you're in between. It's like, do I shave it again? Do I wait this out? That's where the
I thought about that. I was really in that same predicament where I'm like, do I just start all over or what do I do here?
It's funny.
So anyway, I would, listen, if you want me to shave my head at the Beer Fest, the Capital Beer Fest, make me an offer. See how much money you can raise, and I'll give 50% to charity. Okay.
All right, I'm in too. I'm in. I will shave my head with Grant. It's a tag team offer. Whatever you offer.
Yeah, but I'm not going to disclose my number, but I have it in my head. Okay.
All right. Fair enough.
Good. All right.
Fair enough.
916-779-0929. If you want to call the show. That's 916-779-0929 or text the show. All right, so you asked me what I think the attendance will be tonight. The announced attendance or the actual attendance?
Actual.
I'm going to say the actual attendance will be less than 11,000.
Oh, you're being generous.
Well, actual attendance less than 11,000. You think it's going to be single digits? I mean, meaning under 10?
I think it will be max 10 attended.
Okay.
I think you could be in the 9,000s.
Okay.
The weather.
Right. And is this going to be the norm for the rest of the year unless there's a big team coming in? By big team, I'm talking about the big stars.
During the weekend or during the weekday games, I think it will be closer to the norm unless it's a big game. I think the weekends and Fridays will do okay for the most part because, again, this opens up an opportunity for others that have been priced out of Kings games, or if you're somebody that's always wanted to sit much closer to the court, you can now do that at a more reasonable price. So you got to put that factor into it as well, Names.
916-779-0929. Don't forget, if you missed hour number 1 of the show, it will be replayed at 6 o'clock. I am going to be doing the show tonight with Jerry. Rana will not be joining us on YouTube and X after the game. So join us over on YouTube and X if you don't like that, for the Sacramento Kings post-game show. Keegan Murray back. It's going to be good to see him. And no Levine, no Sabonis for the rest of the year. So we'll see how that works for the Kings and whether they'll be competitive or not. Orlando, they're right in the middle of things in the East. And so whereas this game means nothing to Sacramento, when you're looking at the standings, particularly on the other side of the country in the Eastern Conference. And Orlando to me has been one of the more disappointing teams this year.
Yeah.
They're 28-25, but they're only a game back in the loss column of that 6th spot. And we know what that means. It means no play-in. So these are big games for the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, and they just lost Franz Wagner.
Yes.
Which is a big, he lit up the Kings last year when they
did
came.
he ever?
Mr. NorCal says he will be at the game. This is a really weird schedule game because the Kings play tonight and then they hit the road for, I think it's 4 or 5 games. They do they go to Texas, they go to Memphis, back to Texas.
What's weird about it?
Just that you got a 1-game homestand, or it's not even a homestand, 1 game at home, and now you're hitting the road again. Just have them hit the road. Start on the road.
All right, well, here's their road trip. All right. We have the Spurs on Saturday, Memphis Monday, Houston Wednesday, Dallas Thursday, and then the Lakers to start off the month of March on the 1st.
And then you start your biggest homestand of the season, I believe it's like 10 out of 11 games at home, and it's very reasonable. Remember we said this could be the homestand?
Yep. Philadelphia, New Orleans, Chicago, Indiana, Charlotte, at the Clippers, Utah, San Antonio, Philly. So you're looking at, even though the Pelicans just embarrassed you, but the Pelicans, the Bulls, the Pacers, the Hornets, the Jazz, Brooklyn, all of those home games are games that, you know what, the Kings could be favored in some of those games.
They should be favored in probably half of those.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And then, they hit the road.
It's a good question. I wonder what their lines are going to look like now that Domas and Zach are out.
Very true.
You know what's so interesting, and I have to give, I think it's Michael Buffington on Twitter, the credit for this, Grant. But when the Kings put out the press release with the injury updates, they listed Domantas Sabonis as a forward.
When's the last time Sabonis has spoken with the media?
Formally?
Yes. Not after the game in front. I'm talking about like being accessible for interviews at practice.
Before his meniscus injury.
So we're talking about several weeks, yes?
Longer than that. We're talking 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, so 2 months. Interesting. All right, we'll come back. We'll talk about the game tonight. Anything else going on in the world of sports? I'm happy to cover it. This is the Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports Sacramento. We'll be back right after this.
Fox Sports Radio and Elk Grove Chevrolet proudly present Capitol Beer Fest, Saturday, March 7th at Capitol Mall. More than 70 brewers, and at the Fox Sports Elk Grove Chevy Lounge, great cigars and a meet and greet with Grant Napear. Get your tickets at CapitolBeerFest.com. Capital with an O, beerfest.com.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Homeowners, if you have an electrical project you need done, then you need the good dudes at Gabrudes. Family owned and operated for 30 years, Jay Gabrude and his team are the area's recognized experts for everything electrical, from the very basic like repairs, lighting upgrades, and whole house fans, to the biggies, panel replacements, EV stations, and backup generators. Gabrudes does it all and does it right the first time. They're actually the guys their competition recommends. Gabrudes, expert 5-star service and always transparent, honest prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Visit Gabrudes.com or call 24/7 and speak with a real live person. Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S. Gabrudes.com.
Do you need new tires? Have you been putting it off? Don't wait any longer. Get the best in tires today and save. Get to Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard, Sacramento. For the best selection of Bridgestone and Firestone tires, all on sale and on-site ready for your car or truck, get to Expert Tires and Brakes to save big on sets of Bridgestone and Firestone tires. Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard, Sacramento. Expert Tires and Brakes, the best place for tires and brakes.
My retired friends are going back to work. I'm worried Social Security won't be enough. BenefitsCheckup.org connected me to $1,000 a month for food and medicine. It's free. Visit BenefitsCheckup.org today.
Supported by the U.S. Administration for Community Living.
Kings and Magic tonight. Will the losing streak continue? 14 and counting. I got to believe, yes, it will. I believe it will. You think the Kings are going to be competitive tonight, Rhino?
Yeah, I do. I think they will give you a really good effort. I think they'll probably struggle in the areas that you expect the young guys to struggle. In terms of turnovers, they're still trying to find some cohesion amongst the group that really hasn't played a ton, but they will lose. Orlando's the matchups just don't work, Grant, against Orlando, especially without
Ben Kara, Wendell Carter.
And here's the thing, that Dylan Cardwell injury, that changes so much for the Kings because
it does.
You don't have a rim protector now, like a legit rim protector.
Who are the Kings going to start tonight? I think you got to put Murray in the starting lineup. I don't care whether he's played or not. We talked about this yesterday.
Hold on. They didn't put Zach in the starting lineup.
I understand.
They didn't put Domas.
I mean,
Will they?
What? Put him. Yes, put him. Start him. Stop messing around. Stop jerking around with these players. Stop trying to make a point. You don't have any momentum. It's not like you're trying to, break up their rhythm. You've lost 14 games in a row. Stop with the nonsense. Start your best players. Put them on the floor.
I'm with you. So Murray.
I mean, why would you not start Keegan Murray tonight?
There's no reason not to from a basketball standpoint.
It would be embarrassing not to, which means they probably won't.
So Murray starting. Reyno, is he starting?
Yes.
Okay. We've got 2. DeMar DeRozan.
DeRozan's going to start.
Is DeRozan going to start?
Going to start.
Is DeRozan going to start at the 2 or the 3?
I think he's going to start at the 3.
So Neek's going to be the 2?
Yep.
And
then DeAndre Hunter will come off the bench.
Yeah, I agree with that. Russell Westbrook going to start. Here's the thing.
Because go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
No, because Doug Christie's in love with Russ. He thinks he's like the god of all gods on NBA talent.
I will come on here tomorrow and start this show on a rant if Russell Westbrook plays anything with a 3 in front of it tonight, especially in the high 3s. No reason for it.
Well, I will not be able to banter back and forth with you tomorrow, but I'll tell you what I'll do. Okay? If I don't listen live, I'll listen on the podcast. I'll listen on YouTube, whatever the case may be. And in my mind, as you're ranting, I'll be ranting back at you, but you will not be able to hear me.
Fair enough. Hey, you know what happened? We always talk about travel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really quick. I got a text message.
I want to hear it.
Yeah, so I got a text message from one of my friends that was in Japan, and he's flying back to Detroit, right? And I knew he was going to be making the trip back in the next couple days, but he just sends me this random code. And maybe this can be done, but I get this text message that says DL 274. I'm like, what the?
Delta Airlines, nonstop, Tokyo into Detroit, DFW. Go ahead.
And I'm like, what does that mean? You click on it, and it gives you, it shows you where the plane's at. It has.
Duh. Have you ever heard of cell phones before, and that you can text and you can use your phone to take pictures? Are you aware of that too? Or do you need some help with that?
No, I've got. Okay, stop. That's not fair. I didn't know you can just put a flight code in a text message.
Yes.
It's not shown as a link. You just click on it, and just the world pops up in front of you about what's going on with that flight.
Yep. My favorite app on my phone is Flight Radar 24 that shows every plane in the sky in the world. And when you click on it and you look at the planes that are above us,
it
is staggering. It is like you can't believe it. And then what they call the highway over the oceans, and the fact, like the planes flying, like right now, they line up. I'm gonna take a screenshot and send this to you. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a picture of the North Pacific for you. All right. And now you understand how air traffic control can be so stressful. Now, I'm well aware that computers, I get all of that. But I'm going to send you this picture right now, currently, of the air traffic going from one end of the world to the other over the northern Pacific. All right? You can't even distinguish.
Holy moly.
The different, yes, right, okay?
That looks like the misses on a Sacramento Kings shot chart.
That is a very good one. Okay, so anyway, so what's great about this app is you can click on any one of those planes, and it tells you what altitude they're at.
Stop.
Oh yeah, it tells you how fast it's going. It also tells you previous flights. So if you want to know the history of where that plane's been in the last week or the last 2 weeks or the last 4 weeks, you can look at that. It also tells you the age of the aircraft. All right. So you'll know whether the aircraft is, whenever I'm on a plane, all right, I just sent you over the United States, by the way. So whenever I'm on a plane, before I take off, I always look to see how old my aircraft is and everything else. So for instance, all right, I'm going to send you a screenshot of this.
Yeah.
I'm going to click on Korean Air that's in the, right now. It's from Chicago to Seoul. All right. And it gives me all of the information that I want to see on this flight. It took off 34 minutes behind schedule, but it's going to arrive ahead of schedule. It is a 15-year aircraft, which you don't see but all right, let's look at recent flights here. All right. Seoul to Chicago, Osaka to Seoul, Seoul to Osaka, Ho Chi Minh City to Seoul on the 17th of February. On the 17th, before that, it was Shanghai to Seoul. On the 16th, it went to Sapporo to Seoul. On the 15th, Ho Chi Minh City, and on and on and on. And then you have a 3D dimension. So you can look at the plane.
A 3D?
It is unfreaking. I'll send it to you so you can see what it looks like.
I believe you. So how do
No,
they...
but it's incredible.
How do they source all of the real-time information? Where are they getting it from?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's all there. You can look at any plane in the sky and get all of the information that you want. I love it. I'm on it all the time. Literally, like that's how I, sometimes kill my my spare time. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to do this.
Yeah, see, you're not going to probably get me into this one, but you did get me into the live streams of the different airports when planes are taking off and coming in.
I'm on the one at LAX all the time. It's great. I love it.
It's kind of relaxing.
Great.
I'm not going to lie to
I
you.
love it.
It's cool.
Yeah. So anyway, just so you know, there's a little bit of air traffic above you that you probably weren't even aware of.
Yeah, it looks like the United States is being swarmed by bees.
Yes.
Except they're planes.
It's amazing, isn't it?
What's amazing is all the different altitudes, and how close those planes are together.
Yeah.
You ever think about when you're driving in a car, like I'm headed somewhere, everybody in that car next to you or in front of you, they're headed to a destination somewhere else.
Well,
you don't know
when
where
I am flying, when I used to fly with the Kings and we were traveling around Thanksgiving, very often, almost every single Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we were on the road. And you know how you always see the video of the Thanksgiving holiday traffic in Southern California?
Yeah.
And I remember looking out the window as we were approaching LAX and it was dark. And that's exactly what I thought. I'm like, wow, there are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of cars below me. And you can see the red lights from the tail lights, the brake lights, for as far as your eye can see, and all the headlights. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, all those people, all different lives, different backgrounds. Some are happy, some are sad, some have health problems, some don't, some are poor, some are like, it's fascinating to me. But when you see all those people, the things that I personally think about. But anyway, it says, I love Flight Radar 24. Saw a flight out of Oakland headed to Belgium over Roseville. Well, where I live in El Dorado Hills, I sit on the balcony And I actually, on my app, watch the planes take off from San Francisco, and I follow them, and I literally see them fly over where I'm at on the way to Europe. They all fly right over. So I literally will watch them on my app take off from SFO, follow them through the East Bay, over Vacaville, over I-5, and right over Folsom, and fly directly overhead. And I have actually had friends that are on flights that I follow, and as they're flying over, they're roughly between 18 and 21,000 feet by the time they get to El Dorado Hills. And I actually take a photo of their plane flying over me and go, dude, you flew right over where I'm at.
That's crazy.
I do it all the time.
So
yeah, my life's a little different.
So just got a text message from a well-known pilot. ADS-C and transponders are the way that they are able, or you're able to see all that information.
Would that pilot be your father?
It would. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we can disclose that. You don't have to say a pilot. You can say, my dad's a pilot and he gave me all this information.
Well, I say it all the time. I mean, it's like he's got these spidey senses. Like, you're about to get jumped on. Like Dorian telling me right now in the chat, Rhino, you're about to get cooked.
Yeah.
It's that time of the show.
So there's a SAS, Scandinavian Airlines, just took off from San Francisco 9 minutes ago. And it will be flying over El Dorado Hills in just a few minutes' time, in about 7 to 8 minutes. I'm not going to be able to see it because I'm on the radio, but it will fly directly over El Dorado Hills here. And unless it's cloudy, which it's been cloudy here all week with rain, you won't see it. But yeah, during the summer months in particular, I love sitting out there. And sometimes, I can actually see, like the British Airways, if it's an Airbus 380, which has a lower altitude because they're such a heavy aircraft and it takes longer to reach altitude, I can actually see the tail, the colors, the blue and red on the tail from El Dorado Hills.
Well, where you're at, if you're up on the hill looking down on the valley, you can probably see the planes climbing.
No, I can't see that because I don't have that vantage point. No, I'm not on the hill looking at the valley.
Okay.
So if I were, I don't know if I could pick up the plane with the naked eye unless it was in the nighttime and they had their lights on. But you wouldn't be able to see that. But you can. I hear the plane first before I see it, just so you know. Sometimes, but I'm always looking, and just like, again, that SAS flight. If I had a friend on that flight, it's an Airbus A350 right now. It's actually climbing a lot faster than a lot of the other aircraft. It's at 20,000 feet right now, going at 402 knots. But some of them, if it's a real Airbus A350 is a spectacular plane. But if it's an A380, they don't reach altitude as quickly, and you can really see them a lot better. This, by the way, the plane that's getting ready to fly over El Dorado Hills is brand new. It is came into service only 3 months ago.
Does that make
it's a brand new plane.
Does that make you more comfortable or nervous?
I love going on new planes.
Okay.
Love it.
Right.
No, love it. Absolutely love it. Love it. So it's going to go over Elk Grove. It will go right on near Folsom Lake and right over El Dorado Hills. Love it.
Is there
By the way, that flight is a total of 10 hours and 2 minutes from San Francisco to Copenhagen.
It's a long time.
That's not long at all. Go from New York to Singapore, 18 and a half hours. 10 hours is a drop in the bucket.
Hey, brother, the longest flight I can take right now is about 5.5, 6 hours.
Somebody said, Grant, I'm curious, as someone who hasn't done much travel, where did you get the itch? Did it start in childhood? I grew up in Syosset, New York, and the planes that came into Kennedy Airport, particularly from Europe, part of the approach was over my neighborhood, although I'm still 30 miles away from Kennedy Airport, so it's not like they're landing gears down or anything. But I used to sit in the front yard, and I was fascinated, especially when the 747s came into service, and the Pan Am 747s and the TWA 747s. And I would be in my front yard, and I'd be looking at these planes when the approach did bring them over my neighborhood. Sometimes they didn't, depending on wind direction and everything. But I used to sit out there and play stickball and football. And boy, when a plane came over, and if some were really low and you could read the Pan Am on the side of the aircraft or the TWA, I used to love that. And then when the Concorde started flying, if I was in the house, I could hear the pitch being different. And I'm like, oh, my God, the Concorde's flying over. And I would run out and go to my front yard and look at it. It was very cool. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Enough of that, right? I'm probably going, all right, really? Really, Napes? Really? Are you going to get a freaking life and talk about sports or what? Well, I've been talking about sports, but Rhino brought up a travel deal. So I'll talk about Village Financial Group first, because I love talking about an individual that is really, really good at what they do. And I know this firsthand because I've known Spence for 26 years with Village Financial Group. Talked about the expected Fed rate cuts and what that will do for the housing market. And it will be bidding wars. And hey, if 2026 is the year where you're going to be selling your home, or you're looking to relocate and buy a home, Spence is your man. He's got 30 years of experience in the mortgage industry, and he will do a great job for you. It's kind of like a white glove service, a boutique shop that Spence has. Take you right from the start line to the finish line. And keep in mind that he is a very creative financing specialist, and he has access to private money. Call or text Spence at 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. You can go on their website and check out the thousands of listings available at bfgloans.com. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Final segment on this Thursday, coming up on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Maybe it could be said that New Year's resolutions are simply meant to be broken. If, like most people, you've already abandoned your promise to live healthier in 2026, you're not alone. But when it comes to being healthy and happy, it's never too late to hit that reset button and start living your best life. Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center invites you to schedule a free healthy aging consultation with Dr. Dennis Godby, an accomplished author and expert in the art of aging gracefully. As we get older, things change. A lot of us will experience lower energy levels. Some of us may experience a lack of motivation. And for guys, the onset of middle age can mean a lower libido and oftentimes ED. These things can be caused by low testosterone levels, which can usually be safely and easily treated. Visit gettingbetternow.com today and schedule your free healthy aging consultation with Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center located in Midtown. Living your best life is something you can get started on today. Visit gettingbetternow.com.
The new year is here, a fresh opportunity to tell people about your products and services so they know who to spend their money with. Fox Sports Radio has a Mount Rushmore of sports talk talent. Patrick, Cowherd, Gottlieb, and Sacramento's own Grant Napear, and they have an audience you can take to the bank. This is Fox Sports General Manager Kurt Bagelman. Sports Talk listeners are a unique, target-rich group of consumers. They're employed, they earn six-figure incomes, 2/3 own their own homes, and they listen to the radio longer. Let me repeat that. They listen longer, so your commercial message has more opportunity to be heard. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great schedule could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Do you see my good buddy Christopher Mad Dog Russo's comment about Tony Clark, who resigned and talked about the alleged inappropriate relationship with his sister-in-law, talking about Tony Clark's sister-in-law. And Chris went on his radio program, I love Dog, on Sirius XM, all right? Only Chris, you know what I mean? He is just incredibly goes, it was due to an inappropriate relationship with his sister-in-law who was in her 50s. What's so inappropriate about that? I don't understand. This happens all the time, this stuff. Why would that be considered inappropriate? It's his sister-in-law, all right? So it's his brother's wife. I guess that's inappropriate. Isn't that a family matter more so than it's a union matter?
What? Well, you know what?
I mean,
he's actually right.
He really is. I understand. You know, and then he said he didn't do anything criminally wrong. He did something stupid. He's not going to jail.
He just shouldn't have hired her, right?
Right. Exactly. Right. Exactly. Unbelievable. Chris is a piece of work, isn't he?
He's the two of you talking and going back and forth. It's like a different dialect. It's a different energy. It's so great. It's really good. We've got to have
you
him
should
back
see
on
us
soon.
when we're together. Oh my gosh. We were golfing over at Royal Troon, and it was, I don't know if I shared the story, but talking about travel stories. So we all went over there for our 60th birthdays, right? So it was a golf trip with me. Chris invited me, and I had not met any of the other individuals on the golf trip. There were a total of 12 of us. Well, most of the individuals were coming from the New York area, okay? I was actually in Italy with my wife celebrating my 60th and flew from there to Scotland and met them there. But anyway, they didn't all go on the same flight. They had different itineraries. Well, Chris was on a British Airways flight with, I believe, 4 others. And it had a mechanical failure of scary proportions. It was not just like and they had to make an emergency landing off the coast of Canada at an airport that was not an international airport, and therefore it didn't have customs. And to make a long story short, once they deplaned, they had to stay at a hangar because they couldn't, there's no immigration. They're technically out of the country. And there was food brought in for them, but they stayed at this hangar overnight.
Oh, wow.
No beds, no anything, until a plane could be ferried from Boston up to where they were in Canada.
Wait,
so
ferry?
now they get on the plane and they make it to London, but there are no flights to Scotland because of the hour. So Chris chartered a helicopter from London Heathrow to Turnberry, Scotland, and there was an old aviation field from World War II in Turnberry. And at 3:30 in the morning, the chopper lands at this field in Turnberry, Scotland, and we had a practice round that day, so they missed it. And the first of 9 rounds began that morning at 7:30. So I'm on the driving range at Turnberry, and Chris shows up, and he's all happy as heck. You know, we embrace, we're talking, and he's telling me about this trip, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy, and blah, 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 blah. So the first day we're playing at Turnberry, that's one of the most phenomenal venues anywhere in the world. The Great Duel on the 18th with Jack Nicklaus and Tom Watson and so many other great tournaments there at Turnberry. The next day, we're at Royal Troon. Now, jet lag is starting to kick in. Again, these guys had a horrible travel experience, and we had 3 groups of 4 that we changed every day when we played, and we're playing at Troon, which is another great golf course. And Chris was the last group. So the first 2 groups were already on the bus that we had chartered for the week. Beautiful transportation, by the way. It was very nice. And Chris gets on, and you have to know Chris. Chris is irate. He shot like a 108 or a 109, right? And he's like, I'm going home. I don't need that. I'm going up, blah, 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 you know. And we had to all calm him down. Chris, you just had the trip from hell. Don't worry about it. You're going to be fine. And we got him calmed down. And then the next day he shot like a 91 at Muirfield. You know what I mean? But like Chris is a piece of work. You know, I love the guy to death. He's just unbelievable. What you see is what you get with him. There's no manufacturing of his personality. That's how he is in real life. It's how he is in real life.
I love that. That's what it should be. It should be you, right? And so it's just, I love the competitive spirit too. He's talked about his days when he goes in on Wednesdays at ESPN. That's a long day.
Yeah. No,
for him too.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, hi, Grant and Randall. Just looked up Flight Radar 24 app. Turns out it's $39.99 to subscribe. I don't pay $39.99. I think I pay like $9 a month. So you better look at it again. But we had talk about travel. We played 9 rounds of golf in 7 days at the great golf courses in the world: Muirfield, Turnberry, Troon, Carnoustie, the old course at St. Andrews. Like, we played the courses where they've had some of the most famous Open championships, and it was phenomenal.
Are they all right around each other?
No. They're on different parts of the coast. We started off on one coast and went to the other. It's not terribly far in terms of driving through Scotland, but no, they're not. Some are, but no. We were on the bus for a couple of hours to get from one course to another.
I know we've got about 6 minutes, give or take. Which course was it where you hit the shot on 18 that was really good, and then the guy ends up bringing you in and completely through the clubhouse?
Well, that was at the old course. It was our last round of golf. It was the 9th round. We were playing a Ryder Cup format, and at the beginning of the 9 rounds, we had 2 teams, a red team and a blue team, and those teams were accumulating points based on every round of golf. But then we had individual competitions, and each of us put in, I want to say, $150 a day in prize money.
Nice.
That was given out at the end of each day by the organizer. And then at the end, the big pot was who won the Ryder Cup match, the 6 versus the 6. So I'm on the 16th, the hole before the road hole, the famous 17th road hill at the old course. And I'm down 2 with 3 to play. And I win 16. I make a bogey on 17, but my partner made a double. So now we're all square going to 18, okay? And I'm in the last group that day. So I don't really know for sure what's happened in front of me, but I know that I got to win this match. So the 18th at the old course at St. Andrews is just the most incredible, the most famous golf bridge in the world right there.
Yep.
You have the vintage old town on the right that's out of bounds. It's just unbelievable. So my caddy goes, just aim to the left here, because I have a tendency off the tee sometimes to hit a fade. And if I hit a fade there, I'm out of bounds and I'm screwed. And the first fairway and the 18th fairway at St. Andrews, they're parallel to one another. So it's very, very wide. He goes, just aim to the left. I'm like, okay. By the way, the caddies know everything after one hole. Okay, they're really good. So I hit a good drive, but now and the winds were blowing pretty good then, even though there were no clouds in the sky. The wind had picked up, and we're going into the wind at 18. So he goes, all right, we get to my ball, and I'm ahead of Jeff, who I'm playing against in this format. And we're all square. So I watch Jeff hit, and he ends up just short of the green in 2. And by the way, at St. Andrews, because it's the birthplace of golf, you always have people around the 18th green watching. And there were probably 20, 25 people that were standing around the 18th green. And the caddy goes, you're 153 out. And he hands me a 5-iron. I go, 5-iron? He goes, yeah, this is playing a lot more than 153 right now. And I'm standing over the ball, and only like me, I'm literally talking to myself. And I know it's the last shot of the week, okay? It's the last round. It's the last hole. I'm at the birthplace of golf, and I'm literally talking to myself. I'm like, all right, you idiot. I go, this is the biggest shot of your freaking life. Do not mess it up. Slow back swing. Don't be a moron here. Don't try to do something you're not capable of doing. And I flushed it. And a second after I hit the shot, I yell out, greatest effing shot of my life. That's what, as the ball's in the air, I'm like, greatest effing shot of my life. And the ball ends up on the right quadrant of the green, and the people around the green are applauding, right? And I'm walking up to the 18th, I'm like, I'm trying to be an idiot. I'm tipping my hat, and everything.
Oh, yeah, you have to.
Yeah, no, I did. So I watched my competitor, Jeff. He chips on, but he's got a lengthy putt to make par. Now I'm on in 2. I'm on the right quadrant of the green, and my caddy goes, don't be afraid to hit this, even though it's a little downhill. I go, really? He goes, yeah, because this is in the shade. It's not going to go as fast, and, it's a little deceiving. So don't be afraid to hit it a little bit more than you normally would based on the holes we've been playing. And I hit my putt, and I ended up like 6 inches short. My buddy conceded. I made par. We won the hole, and I got $650 because my match was the deciding match for my team. So I'm like, yes.
That's
how I ended my 9 rounds of golf in 7 days on the birthplace of golf in St. Andrews. I parred 1. I missed a birdie putt of about 8 feet on 1. I parred 1, and I parred 18, and I'm like, I don't need to play golf the rest of my life. I just birdied the first and the last on the old course, on the birthplace of golf at St. Andrews. I'm good for life.
110%. That story beats any hole-in-one that I've heard.
Oh, it's the greatest shot of my life in the greatest venue of golf with people around the green in the most amazing. I don't know if I've ever shown you the picture. I'll send it to you, but I will tell you that day at St. Andrews, the weather was something you never get there. There was not a cloud in the sky. It was June, but there was not a cloud in the sky. I'm going to send this to you right now, Rhino, and you can look at it after we get off the air. But there was not a cloud in the sky as I'm standing on the most famous bridge in golf. I just sent it to you. What a day at St. Andrews. And that was me on the final hole. How about that picture, Rhino?
Holy moly.
Doesn't get any better than that, does it?
No, it does not. You got to
Rhino, have a great show tomorrow, my friend. Thank you for filling in for me.
Of course. Have a great weekend.
My thanks to Ross Derringer for coming on. Great stuff, talking about Sac State. My thanks to you. I'll look back we'll reflect on the week and get ready for Monday at 3 o'clock tonight. Post-game show with Jerry Reynolds after the Kings and the Magic. For Rhino in Sacktown, Grant Napear is saying so long. Thanks so much for listening to Fox Sports Sacramento. Bye-bye now.
If you need a new set of top brand tires, Downtown Ford Sacramento has great news for you. For a limited time, we'll beat any competitor's price on a new set of 4 tires. Then kick you down a mail-in rebate of up to $150. And that includes major brands like Pirelli, Bridgestone, Yokohama, and Goodyear. Some restrictions apply. Visit downtownfordsacramento.com for details. Downtown Ford Sacramento on Howe Avenue. Online at downtownfordsacramento.com.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max